Blub blub.
Hi all, Kraken Latte here. Welcome back to the Kraken and Canary podcast. Say hi, Canary.
Whoop whoop. Hi, Canary.
This week, as you can see, we actually have a visual to go along. I know that's normally podcasts don't have visuals, but bite me. We got one this time. So, this week, this podcast, we're gonna do something kind of fun. It's still opinion related, I guess. Technically, yeah, I guess it's very opinion.
Technically, yeah.
Technically, yeah. It's not, an improvement to the game, although we might get into that. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm saying.
We'll see. None of this is ever really scripted. We just have a subject and we just kind of go for it. So that's what makes it fun. Anyway, as you can see, we're doing the World of Warcraft expansion tier list.
Yay!
Yay! So, we can make everyone hot and bothered in the comments by our choices. I know mine will.
Yeah, probably.
I know mine will. For a matter of fact, it will. But so we got S through D here, and all we do with this, if you've never used one before like me, I've seen them, so I know how they work. I've just never used one myself. You just pick the expansion you want, and you drag it somewhere. And, that's where it sits.
Bloop.
It goes bloop right in there, just like that. And I'll scroll down here. Thank you to Skull Shorties, who is awesome. I've been following him on YouTube and Twitter. He's the one that made this, so you can thank him.
Yay!
Go give him a follow.
Thank
He's a great
you,
guy.
Skull.
Thank you, Skull. So, all right, so let's get into the juicy details. We'll go through these by expansion. Oldest to newest. I guess vanilla is not an expansion, but
It still counts.
it still counts. So starting with the vanilla, and this is not classic. I'm talking about the live retail version. This is old school from 2004 or whatever it was. This is 2004, right? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I was gonna say 2002, and I was like, no, that's Warcraft 3, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Dates,
Dates.
times, whatever.
We're starting with the old fart one. World of Warcraft base. Pre-Cataclysm. And I have
Back in the day.
back in my day. So the non-Cataclysm version, and I can make a slight stipulation here on this one for me.
Okay.
My experience is very limited with the original World of Warcraft era. I logged in, I bought it. I was playing on dial-up. It was on a friend's computer. It was their account. So I wanted to try it. I did not like it at all. Absolutely hated it. I played up to like level 20 or 30, but it was all solo, And at the time, way more so than now, the game was meant to be played with other people, even in leveling. And so everything was difficult. I didn't understand how the classes worked. It felt clunky to me because I was used to RPGs in the, old school sense. I was used to dungeon crawlers and platformers. I'd never played an MMO before. So with that kind of in mind, that's my bias on that. My experience with it now, my love for the old world now, is technically the Cataclysm version. So that's how I'll be placing it. But do you have experience with... I think you have more vanilla experience than I do.
Technically, it was in, Burning Crusade, but, still technically counts.
Still.
That's the zones and everything. And
it was pre-Cata. It hadn't completely
was pre-Cata.
changed.
So I started playing about a month before Wrath launched.
Well, still counts.
So still counts. But and initially when I started playing it, it was okay. But I had the luxury, I guess you would call it, of joining an RP server for my first server, and it was Blackwater Raiders. And so immediately, pretty much, made my first night elf, start going around Teldrassil, get to Dolinar, and I see people with pets. I'm like, oh, I want a pet. Because of course I was playing a rogue or a druid or something stupid.
Something stupid. This just in, rogues and druids are stupid. You heard it from here.
Okay.
Ouch.
Early on, yes, they're stupid.
So
Let me wrath you to death. Mwahaha. No, stop hitting me in the face. Anyway. But they were playing Hunter. And so I didn't know what class they were playing. I had no idea, And
yeah, when you're new like that, you don't know jack shit.
Don't know shit. I'm like, oh, druid, I want to play with the plants, or I want to play the stabby stab rogue. That should be fine. But the people were nice. I re-rolled a hunter. They stuck around and leveled with me all through Teldrassil.
Aw.
And I winded up joining a guild with them and going all the way to 55. At which point I re-rolled a Death Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Which is Elithir, by the way. So that's why she's so important.
Understandable.
So I had a really, really good experience. We would get together all the time. I remember actually running over to Scarlet Monastery and doing that. Mm-hmm. And so that was a lot of fun for me. I only have positive memories of all of that. But I didn't really do anything too competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the... I know people are going to be like a little touchy on this subject, but I actually liked having to go buy my arrows.
Yeah, that is kind of a cool thing. Like, on one hand, it's an inconvenience. And
oh my god, it was so bad.
I never had to... Yeah, I can imagine. Running out, and you're like, shit.
Running out, no yak, no mammoth, no nothing. It's like, I gotta go back to town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah, like on one hand, like in the MMO sense, I totally get how it's an inconvenience because you're playing with other people. Mm-hmm. But like in other games like Oblivion or Morrowind, the Elder Scrolls stuff that I was used to at the time, I liked having to keep track of my arrows and having different kinds of arrows.
And the key bag was cool. I liked having to actually collect the keys, going, hey, can someone open the gate to Scarlet Monastery? I can, yeah.
Yeah, that seems cool because it's like a flavor item, if you will. It makes it feel
it was really
more
cool.
RPG-ish.
And it didn't take up bag space. It was a separate bag. Didn't take away from anything else. It was great. I'm still mad that they took that away.
Yeah, well,
But so looking at this, I am very jaded now when I look back on these things. So my standards are much higher, but I would totally give vanilla at least a B.
A B for you.
Yeah,
all
a
right.
B for me.
Okay, so B for Canary. I was feeling the same, despite my distaste for it at the time. I'm kind of like, again, I'm kind of mixed with a Cata version of the old world, so keep that in mind. I didn't have enough experience in the vanilla era to really, give a good view. I played it for a while, I didn't like it, and I stopped. And that was that. So I wasn't back till BC. But on that, I think I agree. I'm gonna go with a B. I see, to me, it was more... Now that I'm an experienced player, it has a lot more RPG-ish elements that I do. Like, don't get me wrong, I would not trade the quality of life stuff we have now, such as appearance systems and account-wide mounts.
Oh my god, no.
On and on and on.
We don't go play Classic.
Exactly. I don't like that version. However, it does have a lot of neat elements that I would have liked to have experienced and maybe have seen in current WoW. So because of that, it's a B. It's a solid B for me. So.
Yeah, solid B.
Solid B. All right, so that's World of Warcraft base. Vanilla. All right, so next expansion, Burning Crusade. Yeah, I'm feeling the same. I'll let you go first this time.
Okay. So, like I said, I started playing in Burning Crusade. And, leveled all the way up into Wrath that way, where you had to go and you had to do Outland. I'm just going to say that once it was no longer required, I haven't done Outland since.
I feel that. I feel that.
I like going back,
Yep.
as a maxed out character and going and doing it but everything was just so spaced out. It was just so hard to get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was just really frustrating, and the Fel Reaver pissed me off to no end. I mean, I think it's cool now, but
oh yeah,
back then when I was playing, it was like, oh my god, I was just about to kill this thing and he squished me.
Yep, I feel that.
An elite that was a pain in the butt to kill, of course.
Mm-hmm. If you could even kill it.
Right.
Good luck.
It was irritating, and you're constantly looking over your shoulder, and then don't even get me started on Zanger Marsh.
Mm-hmm.
I actually spent most of my time in the Grand because I was in love with the Talbuks, and I was insistent that I was going to get them, and I did.
A lot of people love the Grand. I've seen that. A lot of the Grand lovers, or Nagrand, as Sarfang calls it. I'm like, is that how you're supposed to pronounce it? I always called it Nagrand. I mean,
yeah.
But I also live a couple hours from a place called Le Grand, so maybe that's bias, I guess, for me.
I
don't know. He's from there, I guess. He'd probably know.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Nagrand. It does sound a little cooler. It's more orcish sounding if you say it that way. Nagrand.
Yeah, that's true. Nagrand.
I don't know. Anyway.
It might just be a cultural pronunciation.
That's true. Because he was... Sarfang was he War Song? I think he was War Song.
I think so. I think he was.
I think so.
I don't remember.
It's been a while since I've brushed up on my orc history. So, anyway.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. All right, so what do you kind of feel for BC? What's your... D?
I have no love for Burning Crusade. I am sorry. No.
Yep,
I didn't like... There weren't any systems that it implemented that I enjoyed. Mm-hmm. I liked a lot of the mounts that are from it, but that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm going to go ahead and plot that, and a D is for myself as well, and I'm going to explain why. Okay. I don't like questing then, and I don't like it now. I don't like the questing zones. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Like, thematically and visually, they're gorgeous. I'm talking about
very much so.
The spread out, the how long it takes to get everywhere. Mm-hmm. It just feels way too slow.
Back and
forth, one quest at a time.
Give me quest hubs. I want hubs.
Yes, sometimes scaled too hard. Mm-hmm. Like, if I had to pick two zones, I would say I like Zangamarsh and Netherstorm the most. I don't actually like Nagrand. Which is funny. Like, visually, again, it's beautiful, and I don't like the story in it either. I love Kael'thas and I love Illidan. I don't like their plot lines in BC. I strongly dislike it. Because I was someone...
It was, Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, if I was someone who came into the game with Warcraft 3, Warcraft 2, and any books prior, I read all the books, played the Warcraft 3 and 2... before the MMO, I wasn't blind to their history. I knew of them. I already loved them. So I didn't like this weird, suddenly I'm evil spin, I guess.
Yeah. So, this is going to be really bad, but I hated Burning Crusade so much and wanted to get out of it so quickly that I don't think I ever learned the story.
Well, maybe we should have started with vanilla or BC if that's the case.
I know, right? Well, no, I like vanilla. I know the story for vanilla, but BC, I was just like, ugh.
I like parts of it. But a lot of it, even after going through it again recently, still feels jarring, off, a little too, I don't know, there's just something about it I don't like. I don't like back in the day, I didn't like, again, like you said, I didn't add any systems or any quality of life things or changes that I liked.
It's not memorable.
No.
Not to me.
Everything I think about it, I'm like, I don't like it. And I don't have, there's not a whole lot about it that I do like, so.
Yep, I remember running down the Path of Glory and trying to collect the little bones and squeaking every time an orc came close and just running away screaming. I remember that.
You're
He's
adorable.
gonna hit me.
You're adorable. Well,
I'm such a girl.
you are. You are. I was over there. I was over there chasing all the orcs, like, come back, you fucker. That was not very girly. Anyway, so that's BC. I think we've railed enough on poor Burning Crusade. Next
Sorry,
expansion,
BC.
Wrath.
Oh, real quick. I
Oh.
like the races.
Oh, it's true. I do love
Like
Draenei and
the
Blood
races.
Elves.
Still some of my favorite
It's
races. So
Definitely got a
there's
big
that.
boon on that
Yeah.
one.
But yeah, still D.
Still D. Like, I kind of look at it this way too. If you like pulled out the Draenei and Blood Elves and put them in like, I don't know, Wrath, even though the story might not make as much sense, that's still kind of, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
no,
kind of
it
the one
would
good thing
change.
about it.
Yeah, that's the only good thing that I can think of besides, the mounts, and that's kind of sad. If you think of an expansion and all you think of are the mounts and a couple races, and that's it, it's not a good expansion.
Yep, and then everything else you think of, you're like, yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that. Like, for me, if an expansion doesn't hold up in the story, and it doesn't have great questing or base game experience, and I did not like the raids, hated them, absolutely hated them, but that was just me. I didn't like the dungeons, I didn't like any of it. Still don't. When BC Time Walking comes around, I'm like, skip.
Oh, shucks, I've got this other thing over here that I need to do on the complete other side of the cosmos.
Yeah.
Dang.
Oh, darn. So, and yeah, that's like when I was doing my leveling testing a while back now. I was not sad that BC didn't make the ranks at all.
Oh, no.
Because
What?
it did have a few little gem nuggets, if you will, in it that I used to use that were good. If you separated out little sections. Like the Kiranvar village up in Netherstorm was really good.
Right.
The Temple of Tal Hamut or whatever it is, and that general Sun Blood Elf area in northern, well, I guess it's western, actually. To me, it's northern if you enter, but it's western on the map. Hellfire is good. All of Zangarmarsh was good, but it's not now. It's not now, even with flying. Anyway, so let's move on. We're Wrath the Lich King.
Sorry.
Don, my favorite prince. So,
Hi,
bring it.
handsome. What you doing?
So I'll let you go first again.
Okay, so Wrath was my introduction. I had to play through Vanilla and Burning Crusade, but the second I could, I jumped headfirst into Wrath. I enjoyed the hero class that it implemented. I enjoyed a lot of the systems that they used.
Excuse me while I'm dying.
Don't die!
I breathed wrong when I sipped my coffee.
No more coffee for you. Forbidden.
It was the
Forbidden.
bubbles. I made it extra frothy because I got one of those milk frothers.
I want a milk frother.
So it was delicious, but I breathed too deep. Anyway, please.
Had a bubble down the throat.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Please continue.
So I love back then. Okay, we're gonna go with back then.
Yeah,
I loved
start
every
with-
zone.
Start with the back then, and then maybe look at it now if you don't have enough for the back
Yeah.
then. So
So loved every single zone. Did almost everything in Wrath during Wrath. I was 2 reputations shy of being completely exalted with everything. I'm so mad at myself. But devoted a great deal of time to the Argent tournament back then. Did the Oracles, did the Wolvenar. So both of them. But yeah, I have no. I'm trying to find something negative to say about Wrath, but the only negative thing I can say about Wrath is that I had to level through BC.
Yeah.
Because you make your Death Knight and then you're 60. Guess where you go? You go to Outland.
Yep. You're like, yay, all right.
It's like, yay.
Yep. Back when it was forced linear.
Yep. Gotta go do it all.
Yep.
But yeah, I have nothing negative to say about Wrath. Now, years and years and years later, I hate Borean Tundra. Hate it.
I feel that.
I was doing good in my 1 to 120 because I was doing it, a couple times over and over and over again. And by the 5th time going through Borean Tundra, I wanted to vomit, and I just did like 5 characters.
How do you think I felt?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you could go on the other end. You could do Howling Fjord, but it is so vast, so massive. Everything's all over the place. I guess that would be my negative about it. And Borean Tundra, that was where you go. That's it. That's how you go from one to the next.
Yep.
That's where my city led me. So that's usually where I went. And yeah. So because of the, I would say, forced linear, which is still an issue, which still drives me up a wall. And because of the, I guess it's not even how repetitive it is. It's just something about Borean Tundra. I'm sick of it. Like, I cannot stand Borean Tundra to save my life. I get to the Dita quest and I'm done. Yeah. I don't want to. Nah.
Well, you sure, beyond Borean Tundra, have a big love for the rest of the expansion, though.
It is such a beautiful expansion. I raided religiously during that expansion. I still go back and do all of that old content on several different characters. So it's just, I would give Wrath a solid A.
I called it. I've been I guessed
Wrath
on that one. I knew you'd go for an A for that one.
It's
Nice.
One of my favorites.
All right, well, my turn. This is where we're going to disagree. I'm putting it in a solid C. I did not enjoy Wrath. I love the lore, the story. The zones are beautiful. I hated questing there. Again, did not like questing there. It was the same feeling for me as BC for questing. It's long. It's repetitive.
That's fair.
The zones are beautiful, but I don't really care for a lot of what's going on in the zones themselves. The transmog is gorgeous, just like it really is from BC. All the collectibles are wonderful. Again, I was not a fan of, the original vanilla or BC, but when Wrath came out, I won't lie, I'm an Arthas diehard. Okay, I love him and his backstory. I love the Norse theming with the Vrykul and the Titans and the Keepers, all that stuff. Love it. I love the hell out of it. But the actual physical gameplay, I did not like the raids. I did not like the zones questing there. Even now, I avoid it. I am so glad that we no longer have to go back to Borean Tundra. Like, the only zone I actually kind of like, and it's just because it's short, is Sholazar Basin.
Yeah. That's fair.
From a questing standpoint, I don't like it. From a story standpoint, it's beautiful. I love the whole thing. I love Arthas. I love Lord Duran. I love the Lich King. I have Christy Golden's The Rise of the Lich King or something book. It's been a while since I've read it, but I read it when it came out. I read it like 4 times. That book is so crumpled because I've read it so much, and I cried every time.
Aww.
Best book ever. 10/10 recommend. So I love everything behind it. And because of that, it's a C. But physically playing it, the game itself attached from that, it would be a D if it didn't have that story. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't. It was another expansion that I played for a good few months and then quit because I was like, this isn't fun. So that's a C for me. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, there are only a few expansions where I literally played throughout the entirety of the endgame content, and Wrath was one of them.
Yep, Wrath. I did not make it to Argent tournament when it was current, just because I wasn't having fun, so I didn't get that far.
Yeah, learning to joust was annoying, but I got it.
Yeah. Now, in retrospect, I like it now. I do love the Argent tournament. I do love ICC. I like, all that stuff, which is kind of what helps it back up to a C. Like maybe a low B, a high C, if you will. Like nowadays, I do like the expansion, but I like the end game stuff. And I'm wondering, like, if I had managed to stick it out and actually found friends, people that I liked back in Wrath, which I didn't have.
I was right here, man.
We didn't know each other. That was way before.
I was around.
Yeah, well, we didn't know each other. I was on a completely different server than you.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, if I'd stuck around for endgame, I might feel better about it, because nowadays I do love it. But besides doing the endgame stuff, like the collecting, like Argent Tournament and stuff like that, I just not a fan. Not a fan. So that's Wrath. All right. Ready to move on to the next one?
I'm ready.
Cataclysm. Cataclysm. I'll let you go first again.
So, how to preface this? Overall, not the biggest fan of Cataclysm during. I was not. I absolutely adored the pre-patch. I thought that was the most amazing thing. But it was really the only pre-patch that I actually saw, because I was leveling through the Wrath one. Like, I wasn't in any of the main areas ever. So it was like, what's going on? What happened? There's a thing?
Yeah.
What? So, but for Cataclysm, I thought it was the coolest thing having Deathwing actually fly over you, and periodically you just died in flames. That sounds like the coolest achievement ever.
Yeah.
I'm still a little sad that you can get it in the raid, but you know what? It's fine.
Yeah.
Which works out because now I have it on this new account. So
You do.
I do. I thought it was really cool how they completely changed the face of the world. That was pretty awesome to me. I did not really super enjoy the leveling process. I thought Vashir was the most amazing thing ever. But everything else was just like, eh. Like, I didn't really feel, Mount Hyjal. I didn't really enjoy Deep Home. I mean, beautiful zones, don't get me wrong. But there wasn't really anything that it added to appeal. Like, Vashir was the only thing, the real add, which was new and unique and just amazing for me. But, yeah, even now, like, as beautiful as they are, I love Vashir, and that's about it. Rip. Sorry, Kata.
So what would you put it at?
I'd give it a C. It's still better than Burning Crusade.
Very true. Poor Cataclysm.
Sorry, Kata. Love you, Deathwing. Not so much anything else. Once Deathwing went away, I was like, aw. I got to 95 and stopped playing. Or 90, whatever it was.
Poor Cataclysm. Because this is where you and I, once again, are disagreeing. Yep. Cataclysm is a solid A for me. I love the Cataclysm zones. I love questing there. I'm mad that you have to wait until 30 now to go there. I was so excited for that change, and it was not the change I wanted. When, they did the squish and you could go anywhere, almost anywhere at 10.
Almost.
Expansion-wise, at least, not zone-wise. But anyways, I loved the world changes. I loved the addition of the transmog system.
Ooh,
I loved
the transmog.
All that stuff. It just felt new to me. Coming from not liking vanilla, not liking Wrath, not liking BC, and being disappointed with it. After being such a avid Warcraft universe lore nerd. Like, I RP'd Warcraft. Even back then with the friends I had at the time, outside of the game. Because I loved this universe so much.
Mm-hmm.
So Cataclysm was like a fresh coat of paint for me, and I stayed in it the longest. And I actually got to see more of the raid because I wasn't being drug along as a carry and then being kicked and ridiculed for not knowing what I was doing. LFR, as much as we knock on it, was added with Dragon Soul. The very first LFR was Dragon Soul. It was a nightmare, but I liked it because it was more accessibility for someone who repeatedly did not have good experiences with guilds like I did. So because of that, I liked that accessibility because now I could see the whole raid. I felt a part of it. You know, it's going to sound cheesy, but I felt a little included. So I was like, hey! And I don't have to know these people, even if they are over there eating each other's hearts out, trying to do this fight. You know, Tank, what are you doing? Stupid healers, do something. And I'm over there staring off the side like, it's so pretty here. Have you guys seen this? And they're like, focus on the fucking fight. And dragons. I'm a big dragon fan, and I knew in advance of Deathwing's lore. I knew he was Neltharion. I knew he was one of the 5. I knew the old gods had made him go nuts. I loved all of that. I loved the changes to the zones, and even now, currently, I love the vanilla zones because they're not classic vanilla, they're Cata vanilla. And I like, personally, that version better. Just because, like, I might have liked the old world more if I had more experience with it and more understanding of how the game functioned. But I think a big part of it was I didn't understand how the game worked. No one would explain it to me. I didn't understand MMOs. It was different. And that's why I didn't like it, I think. But nothing new about that now.
It seems like we had the our Wrath and Cataclysm experiences are flip-flop for each other.
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
Because I stopped playing probably in the first week of Cataclysm because I got to the end too quickly. I was done. I'm like, okay. And there was nothing new. I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? So I just stopped playing, and I never got to the LFR. I never got to any of that stuff. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that is actually. Well, for me, like, I just think, I don't know. I just really love Cataclysm, and every time I go back there, I'm just thrilled to be there the whole time. Molten Front is one of my favorite, absolute top tier favorite endgame zone stuff. And I love how it's a progressional endgame zone. And what I mean by that is when you first come into Hyjal, everything's on fire, you gotta save things, but when Hyjal is part of the whole experience, that's why I'm starting there. You gotta fight everything back, you get to the Sanctuary in Malorn, you know, it's all beat up, and then they summon Malorn, and then it changes your phase into a new, they've rebuilt it, they've got it back together, Malorn is there, in the spirit flesh, and I was like, ah! Because I'm a big, you know, like, druid night elf nerd, so seeing him in game when I'd only ever read about him, I was like, like my first experience, I was so excited. I was like, Buffy, he's right there! How are you so calm? So that was me. And then going into the Molten Front, that was another experience because I love the elementals and their history. The dragons, the elementals, the titans, and the old gods are all mashed together in a brilliant history with their stuff on Azeroth, their lore, and I love all of that. So being able to see the Firelands was so cool to me. I wish we could have seen more of the Throne of Tides in that zone, but it was just ended up being just a dungeon. Deepholm and actually questing in the frickin', you know, the plane of Earth. Because that's what that is. It's not just some other zone on Azeroth. Like, it is, but it's the plane of Earth. That's why Therazane's there. That was so cool to me! And I was just like, ah! And then Oldham, and it's like sand, and of like, yeah. Just everything about it, like that for me was a lot of people's wrath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cataclysm was my wrath. That was when I really started to embrace the game as good. And I liked it. And because of that, I was way more drawn. Now, I still didn't play it for the entire duration of it.
Right.
Because when the next expansion was announced, I was mad. And I quit. So, yeah, I was that person. I know. I know.
Quit.
I quit, deleted all my characters, uninstalled. Yep.
Oh,
and I did this every expansion. So when I say, yeah, I had characters I leveled to X, I can't prove it. I don't have them anymore. And I'm like, but anyway.
Why, old me? Why?
Why was I dumb? Anyway, so yeah, Kata, top. It's an A for me. It would have been an S if there was more to it, but it was really short.
It was really short.
And if it had more than just, like, Molten Front and stuff to keep me entertained, I probably would have stuck around a little longer. Yeah. But it was really short. And I think because of that, it's only an A. But for me, it's an A. So, enough of that.
I have to say, I do remember standing at the Flight Master at fucking midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And scrambling to get logged back in. And having to deal with all the people standing there to get my Azerothian flying.
True. Yeah, that's right. That's when they introduced Azerothian flying, wasn't it? Because in BC and Wrath, it was only in those specific zones, wasn't it?
It was cold weather flying and then outland flying.
That's right.
And then they finally came out with the Azerothian. I was like, ooh! So yeah, totally one of those midnight people standing on top of the Flight Master.
Midnight releases, woo!
Yeah, that was cool to me. That was cool.
That's cool. But I think that's enough on Kata. Let's move on to the next expansion.
Let's not.
I know. Mists of Pandaria.
Yay.
Now, it's funny. I will say this before we both give our own opinions. When I played in Mists of Pandaria, and I did play and stay for the entire duration, Mists Plus, I have never stopped playing. I've never taken a break from it. And that's probably going to continue to be that way now. But I say that because during it and being in it, everybody and their grandma hated the expansion with a raw passion. Everywhere I looked on social media, everywhere I looked in the game, everyone I talked to in real life hated it. It was a Kung Fu Panda knockoff, and the lore was bad, and the raids were bad, and on and on and on and on. And now, I think it's funny because now I began to see this trend, and I began to learn I could not take other people's opinions. Because now, everyone says Mists of Pandaria was the best expansion. Everywhere I look. And I'm like, granted, some of those people might be genuine. They believe that, and back in the day, they also believed that. I get that. I'm one of those people with others' expansions. But I mean generalizing here. They're like, it was so great. The story with Garrosh was wonderful, and the dailies were the best. And I'm like, what? What? Okay. Anyway, so with that in mind, I just wanted to say that's kind of funny to me because that's when that seems to have started.
Yeah.
Is with MOP. That everybody hated it, and 10 years later, everyone loved it. Thing. So, anyway, I'll let you go first again. How do you feel?
So I feel very similarly about the next two expansions, actually. So when I first got into MOP, I was really excited. Totally started making myself, I've made myself a panda. Started leveling a monk. I like that you actually had to grab the flame from the guy's hand instead of it just appearing.
Yeah, they changed that.
Like,
I don't remember when.
Really irritated that they changed that. Like, it makes no sense. Why would you change that? That was cool. Like, you actually have to grab the fire. You actually have to carry it. And I think it went out if you went too fast.
That feels right. That feels familiar, yeah.
Right?
I kind of forgot about that.
And that might be probably part of the reason because people complained. And, if you had someone who whooshed past you and piss you off. Yep. And then, of course, all the people standing on top of the stupid thing you had to burn. And you had to wait because only one person can do it, and it disappeared for everyone.
I remember that. I remember being annoyed about that because
that was so irritating.
Yep.
But I did love my panda. I leveled a good ways, but I struggled with this expansion and the following one,
Mm-hmm.
where all my friends, and we've talked about this before,
Mm-hmm.
they were end gamers.
Mm-hmm.
So they were rush, 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 rush. Let's go. Why haven't you finished? Why aren't you level yet? Come on, let's go. Let's go play.
Yeah, 3
And so I
days into
stopped
the
playing.
expansion.
Yeah, I would stop playing. I think I got to like level 34 on my panda, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And then like halfway through the expansion, they convinced me to come back, so I made a priest, and it was super squishy compared to the male wearers that I had been playing previously. So I had one mage. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll go with that. I had one, but I didn't really play her very much, and I played hunters, shamans, and death knights.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my characters. So I make a priest in MOP and get my face handed to me repeatedly.
Oh
And they're like, what? Shadow's the best. You should be fine. No, I'm not fine. Of course, I boosted it because they were pressuring me. So there's that too. I didn't know how to play it.
no. Mm-hmm.
So I had a shitty experience in MOP, and I
Mm-hmm.
stopped playing again, which is a recurrent thing until I found some actually decent friends, and will probably never stop playing at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you, Kraken Latte.
Well, you're welcome. Guilty Canary.
So yeah, not positive things about MOP. I enjoyed the zones; they were beautiful. I never got to the end game content.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the professions. I thought that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I like some of the things that they implemented with dailies and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just I loved the treasures. I thought the treasures was cool because periodically you would find one and you get this big boost. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But not great. I would lump it in with Cataclysm for me.
All right. Before or after, would you say it was better or worse than Kata?
I liked Cata better.
All right. All right. So there you go. Mists at a solid C for Canary. So for me, we're similar, but I have a deeper hate than you do. I don't hate many things.
I like shields.
Yeah, shut up.
I think that's like the most awesome story ever, and I still giggle when I think about it. I say it to myself all the time.
Oh gosh, thanks. All right, well, what she's talking about, since I might as well say it. For those of you that don't know and haven't heard this before, I don't even know what other episodes or videos I've said this in, but I have said it a few times. It's in a few episodes. But anyways, when I started with Miss Pandaria, I really kind of say I started Miss Pandaria. Even though I played as much as I did in Cataclysm, I did play in every other expansion prior. It wasn't all the way to the end. It wasn't long. I didn't learn much as a player. I didn't, which is fine. Not that you have to, but to me, as deep as everything in World of Warcraft functions, the systems, the layers and layers of things you can do or have to do to get the thing, if that makes sense for you. You really need to kind of learn how your class works. You really need to learn how the questing system works. You need to understand how the currency farms and grinds function to really feel confident, I think, about your accomplishments in the game. Because if you, even as a raider, if all you did was raid, you still need to understand your class if you're going to progress. But anyways, I had none of that under my belt. When I played in Cata, I played because it was pretty, it was new, and it was beautiful, and I loved the lore. I didn't know, I didn't get my classes very well. I think I was playing like a druid. I don't even actually remember. That's because it was just kind of a blur of enjoyment. It wasn't, there wasn't any hate about it. But I, for the first time, actually started playing Miss Pandaria, an expansion, with a friend. I had a friend. She got me into it. She was like, it's not that bad. The raids are kind of cool. You might enjoy it because, remind you what I just said earlier, when I quit playing Cata when MOP was announced. Because I didn't like the theme It felt too Happy Panda after we'd literally just came from aliens shooting fell laser death ray demons and freaking dragons burning the face of the planet with the elements bursting forth, and the prince of the fallen kingdom is now turning everyone into an undead army to let's go drink some beer. I was like, you fucking serious right now? So that was me. I was one of those people. I did not like the theme and it made me mad. So my friend convinced me. I didn't get back into WoW until Thunder King patch. It was like 5.4 or something, back when they had the other numbers dropped. The Thunder King patch, that was the day I got in. Which had worked out because the Thunder King seemed cool. I was like, oh, the Zandalari are neat. Oh, the Mogu are pretty cool. So I like that part of it. But anyway, the story. Where I was going with the story with the shield thing. So I started officially in the Thunder King patch. And I was questing. I made a new character. This is when I made my human paladin. Mostly
I'm human.
Yeah, mostly as a joke and out of spite because my friend was like, who was a horde main, was all like, human paladin. Why would you pick a human power god and anime on your side? You could be freaking shapeshifter or a lightning caster and be super cool. Why would you play a human? And I was like, okay, fine. Human, male, paladin. Bitch, I'm gonna be the best whatever that ever lived. And the funny thing was it was a joke, and I thought I would hate it. I loved it. I loved paladin. I just loved... Oh yeah, also to preface it, I'd only played Horde up to this point, by the way. So up until this point, I had never played Alliance in-game. Even in the previous expansions, I was Horde. I was usually Blood Elves. Well, I had played Night Elves, that's a lie. But I didn't play them often, just because I kept getting told Horde's better, Horde's better, Horde's better. So that's the side I played.
Right.
But anyway, so I loved it. Convinced my friend to play Alliance with me. We leveled together for a while, and then she decided to blaze past me one night while I was sleeping. Got to max level, immediately got into a raiding guild. Didn't tell me. And so I had to level on my own. And of course that was in Mrs. Pandaria. And I don't know if you all remember, I do. There was a scaling difference. This is when you started. This is when you started to notice it. I hadn't seen this in past expansions, but when I went from Catazones to the new content to Miss Pandaria, and I was playing a paladin in tank spec, didn't understand how threat and aggro worked. I died so freaking much. It was infuriating. And the best part of it is when I complained about it to my friend, she didn't tell me why. I didn't get it. I was like, why is everything constantly going to me? There's other people around. They're already hitting it. Not that, you could multi-tap, but I didn't get that either. So there was that. And then I hit it and it immediately goes to me. And then I put down consecration and everything goes to me and then I die. And she was like, oh, you're just bad. So I had a great friend, if you couldn't tell. Anyway, so I got mad. I rage quit for like a month. It was December, so it was good time anyways because it was Christmas, family was coming over. And then in January, my friend's like, look, we need a tank for the raid. Would you hurry up and level? I've been kind of waiting on you, even though she didn't tell me that. So I hurry up and got to 90 because that was the cap at the time. First cap ever, by the way, except for the one I had in Cata, but that was deleted. So yeah. Got to 90, got into the raid. They didn't question it. She was a healer. I think she's playing a shaman, I think. Maybe a druid, I don't remember. And they needed a off tank. Because, in a raid you have 2 tanks. Their off tank apparently had quit, and they didn't have anyone else that could replace him. So, Paladin was quote-unquote meta at the time. I didn't know what that meant either. So they took me without questioning me. And we were in Throne of Thunder. Good raid, by the way. I do like that raid.
Mm-hmm.
And we got all the way up to Darumu, the maze boss, before we repeatedly wiped over and over and over. And they were looking at me because apparently something was wrong with thread or something. I don't quite understand it. And we were all in vent. I hadn't spoken once either, by the way. They didn't know I was a girl. Yeah, you remember old vent when you clicked it. Yeah. And so I was in questing greens. I was not in raid gear. I was a fresh 90. When they asked me what my item level was when I joined, I said 90. They said, okay. That must have been good. I don't know. I don't know what it was. And it was, kind of not exactly a problem up until that boss. And they inspected me. And they were like, you're in quest greens. I was like, what's that mean? They said, your gear. You're wearing quest gear. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, isn't everyone? So, I had spoken, and they now knew I was a girl, which, of course, made the 90% male raid try to flirt at me. But on the other hand, they had also were like, so we kind of just got from the other tank. The other tank didn't talk to me, by the way. He didn't once try to communicate with me. So as you could tell, this is probably not a good raid. But
yeah,
I was just there kind of doing my thing. And he said, yeah, the other tank just told us that you've not been pulling your weight. And I look back and go, hey, why didn't he tell me that? Why were they? He was just telling them, but whatever. And I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do to be better? They're like, why are you a tank? I said, I like shields. And the vent went silent for about a couple minutes. I was promptly removed from the group. Kicked out of the guild. I was in their guild, by the way. I had joined that. And my friend didn't talk to me for a month. I didn't know what happened. I was very upset. I didn't understand. And I get the feeling that a lot of people have probably had a similar experience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
as a healer.
Yeah. So I didn't know what I did wrong. I thought we were doing great. We got all the way up to Darumu. You know how many bosses that is? That's like half the raid. Yeah. I thought we were doing fantastic. I was like, this is great. This is the best thing ever. Wow, raiding is so cool. Yeah. No.
Yeah, now that you tell the story again, I do remember a time in Kata. I guess I had come back mid-season or whatever and had joined a guild. And my raid leader wanted me to heal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. So I go in and I'm healing, and mid-raid, we're at the spine. We keep wiping on the spine.
Mm-hmm.
So we're standing there on the boat, and he's looking at everyone. He's like, you're not socketed. I'm like, no, you kind of grabbed me as I was just kind of farting around. You said it was raid night and that you needed me, so here I am. It's like, half of your gear is green. I'm like, you said you needed me.
Yeah, it's like, that's on you, buddy.
Like, I instantly kicked from the raid, and I'm like, okay. They didn't kick me from the guild, but no comment, no nothing, just, we'll talk later, kick.
Yeah, I didn't even get that. I was just removed from the raid, removed from the guild. The few friends that I had kind of briefly had that talked to, they unfriended me. It went full ghost.
Damn.
And I was so upset for days because even my friend didn't talk to me. The one that got me into the game for a whole month.
Well, that's the crazy thing. The leader of the guild was a friend from my Wrath guild.
Mm-hmm.
So we raided all the time together. And so I, stopped playing on that character for a while, but I had other characters in the guild, so I pulled a couple out, and they kick all of my characters from the guild.
Wow. All right.
And I'm like, all right, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done. Fuck Kata. Fuck all y'all. I'm out.
Totally understandable. But yeah, so that's my I like shields story. It's not a good story, but it is funny in retrospect.
Way after the fact. And the funny part about it, the thing that I enjoy most about that story is how accurate that sentiment is. I like leveling and maining a prot paladin. Why? Because I really like using the shield.
Yeah, I like shields.
I like the shield.
That's why I chose the tank spec. I didn't know it was different. You don't have tank DPS and heals in Oblivion. You don't have that in Mario. You don't have that. I didn't understand what that was. And this is what really infuriates me is time and time again when I said something, no one ever explained it to me. I learned by looking up stuff on Icy Veins on my own account. And after I learned all this stuff, I was furious. Not once had anyone ever said, even when I asked what it was, what was going on. They just either assumed or just didn't want to deal with it. So that just kind of, that irks me even to this day. I'm like, that's how asinine you have to be. You know, really.
But, you know, despite all of those negative experiences, and as much as I think that just the comment is so hilarious, I would have laughed my ass off.
Well,
but we still both main consistently Prot Pally.
Yeah, Prot Pally is still my main. That same character that went through that experience, the physically the same character, is still my main, even right now. Probably always will be. So, and don't take this story as why I'm hating on Mop. That's not why. I actually loved Throne of Thunder, and I still do. It's one of my favorite raids in the game. I love the Mogu. I love, you know, the Zandalari theme and all of that sort of stuff. The necromancy.
And you finally got them.
And we did. I always said on the raid, I was like, man, if we ever get Zandalari as playable, I'll play them. And everyone was all like, that's funny. So
we'll never get those.
And look what we got. Anyway. So that's my I like shield story. Has nothing to do with why I do or don't like
shields.
Mop. But I was very innocent and naive, unfortunately.
And she likes shields.
And I like shields. So anyway, I love you too. Back to the topic at hand. I was trying to, since you made me tell a story, why I actually don't like Mists of Pandaria. I didn't like the leveling. There was a difficulty scaling that was much higher. And no, it's not just because I was playing a tank and didn't know what I was doing.
Remember, we still play those tanks and are just fine. Yeah. So, there you go.
That's not it. It's when I play other classes, it was the same thing. That was the first time I started making alts. Was in Mop.
Same issue I had with my priest.
Yep. I had Druid, Keth. He's from Mop. He's OG. He was my second main. I actually PvP'd with him later in the expansion because Mop PvP was not bad. I got into a different guild. They were okay. And PvP'd with some sort of acquaintances that I had there. We did 2s and 3s. And I was Boomy. So that was fine. I do like Mop Boomy a lot more than Current. So I do kind of miss that. But anyways, I don't like the theme and the storyline of Mists of Pandaria so much that it really, I think, corrupted the rest of my experience. I did not like the Pandaren. I did not like anything about them. They were too passive. The Shadowpan were cool, but that's about as far as it went. Chen, yes, he's not new. He's always been in WoW lore. He was actually in like Warcraft 2 or 3. He's been in the books. Pandaria has always existed, but I never liked it. So when I found out that we were going there, I was like, are you serious? This is a whole expansion dedicated to the one race I didn't like? I'm out. But I say it in the expansion. The cosmetics and the mounts that are beautiful. Some of my favorite stuff comes from Mop. I loved the class Transmog. I love the Cloud Serpents. World bosses. I think that was the first time they started doing world bosses. Yeah. Those were cool to me. Still don't have the damn mounts. I'm in the several thousand attempts on all 4 of them. Yeah. But,
One day.
I didn't like questing there. I still don't. I don't like the Happy Panda theme. It's just a drag. Like, every time I have to go do something in Pandaria. And that was, pre-endgame. Like, when I got to the endgame stuff, I hated the dailies. There was so many dailies. There was the Klaxi dailies. There was the August Celestial dailies. There was on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And it just kept going. And I felt constantly overwhelmed because, I did it. I did all of it. I did all the reps, all the mounts and everything, the collecting when it was live while I was raiding every day. I got back into raiding, I should say that, with this other guild that I was in. They were all right. But I used them as a learning tool because I knew if I was going to do something with myself and I wanted to be serious about this game, I had to learn.
Right.
They were not a good guild, but they were a raiding guild. And they were not good in that we would do flex and we'd get up to Pride in Siege of Orgrimmar and we'd just be stuck there for months. So then the off days, I would go raid in the Finder because that was new-ish at the time. I'd go raid normal, which used to be above flex because there was LFR flex, which was what let you do a raid of varying size because they used to be like 10 normal, 25 normal. That was in Siege of Orgrimmar before they changed it. This one was the first raid that changed to the LFR normal heroic mythic. But that was later. So early on, I would go do normal and then sometimes heroic, which was the equivalent of mythic at the time, to get the gear that I needed to come back and then carry the guild. I don't know why I did it. I was an idiot, but I learned a lot because I was mad that, I felt gypped from the previous experience of being kicked out like that and not explained and just ditched. So I went and hardcore learned, and I learned everything from glyphs to stats that I needed to my tier set for all 3 specs. Thank you. I was awesome. I used to be a raider, but I went too hard and it soured me. I became a little bitter because I raided too much every day, actually. Every single day. Because back in those days, you could get Valor and stuff from raids.
Right.
And you could use that to upgrade. I don't remember if it was used to... what was that system? I hated it, but what was that system where you had to change the stats on your gear? What was that called?
Oh, shoot. What was that called?
People say they love it now, but I hated it back then.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, well, y'all probably know what I'm talking about. I don't remember. Let me look it up real quick. That's gonna bother me.
I just used all the tokens for the mounts.
Mob system to change gear stats. Reforging. That's what it was. Yeah, I would go to Timeless Isle and I would do the weekly Valor thing because there was something to do with Valor there. You could get like a weekly cap. I would cap out on Valor every single week to do everything I needed to do to my gear to be the best. I was geared to the 9s in all 3 specs. Because if you all played during that expansion, do you remember that it became a common strategy that when you got to Garrosh, you would drop a tank and you would 1-tank it. I was that 1 tank. Often. But I went too hard. It soured me, and I think that partly that just added to my dislike for the expansion. Yeah. Like, I get it. That's on me. But for me, MOP was a whirlwind of high learning curve to misunderstandings to the scaling to the classes. Just it was too much. On top of already not liking the theming, I didn't like the story. I don't like Chen. I don't like his sister cousin thing, whatever she is. I just don't. It just annoys the crap out of me, which is funny because Monk, on the other hand, is one of my favorite classes in the game. And I wish I had played it in MOP. Because it's one of my top 3. Hunter, Monk, and Mage are my top 3 classes. Yes, I know I mean a Paladin. Bite me.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they were pretty broken in MOP too.
They were, from what I've been told and people that I'd talked to. They were pretty OP. But anyway, I didn't like pandas at the time. I know it's funny because I have pandas in my dancing outro. I like them now. I look back, that's the then experience. I know this is long, but let me jump to the now experience. Now that I understand and I went through what I did, I still don't like the zones. I still don't like the story. I still hate the dailies the most. But I did like some of the endgame. I loved Isle of Thunder. That's one of my other favorite endgame zones. I love the Throne of Thunder raid, despite the bad experiences that I had. One of my favorites. I love Xiaohao rep. I loved the cloak quest line for the legendary. That was the first legendary I'd ever gotten. And I got it for all 3 specs. Think about that for a second.
My god.
Yeah.
I'm a little... Yeah.
I know. I was a little nuts. I went full hog at that time. And I wasn't in high school. This was 2012 to 14, I think was MOP.
14 sounds about right.
Because 14, I think, is when... Let's see. When did MOP come out? Oh, 2012. Yeah. I was right.
There you go.
And then WOD came out in 14. Okay. So, yeah.
That's why I remember.
I was not in high school. I graduated high school in 2010. I was working a full-time job as a marketing agent for an international aviation company at the time. So I would come home working from 40 to 60 hours a week and then do this all night long. I don't know when I slept, but...
Well, you don't sleep. It's a miracle that is you. You just never sleep.
Yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. But anyway, so I don't like MOP. I liked certain things about it. I do love the legendary system. I wish we would go back to that, where it's just one long, hard quest line. But it is so rewarding at the end when you have it. Because it's an OP item. You know, it's not just some Diablo 3-esque random drop. And we'll get to that with Legion, but
yeah.
So anyway, I need to tier this thing. I'm actually putting it after BC. I hate it more than BC. It's a D tier. Sorry.
All right. Well, we have to go back a step because I do actually think that I like Kata better than Vanilla, so it'll go B in front of Vanilla.
Oh, okay. That jumped up.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a C, but I'm like, you know what? There are a lot of systems and like the the profession dailies in Stormwind that I really enjoyed, and
a lot of systems.
The transmog, I didn't take into consideration the transmog when I was talking about it. So as I'm sitting here mulling them over, I definitely put it in front of Vanilla.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, that's another reason why I'd liked Kata. I had a lot of systemic stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I hate MOP. Sorry. We'll just leave it there.
Rip.
It's just be glad there isn't an F tier in this list, because I would probably put it on F tier, but I resisted adding it just because it's not necessary. Because in my opinion, no matter how much you may hate an expansion, there's no such thing as a failure in World of Warcraft. Bite me. Every expansion has their ups and downs. Everyone likes certain expansions more than others. And, there's a lot of good things that MOP brought. And I'm not knocking those. I love Monk. I love the PvP that it had. I loved some of the endgame stuff. I love pandas later. I love the legendary system. Stuff like that. So
right.
I do miss Valor. I know we have it again, but I don't raid anymore. I wish I could use it for my gear. But I can't. It's only for Mythic Plus, apparently. So
lame.
But anyway, let's move on. I think we've trashed on poor MOP enough. Gonna make Chen go drink his heart out.
VC was hurt.
Yep. All right, so Warlords of Draenor is the next one. I'll let you go. I've done enough talking for a bit. It's your turn.
So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of talking to do because I was so spoiled with my fresh new flying everywhere that I got into WoD and couldn't fly, and I was mad and I rage quit. I got to my garrison, unlocked it, and said, "Fuck this shit."
All right, well, so that's the OG experience. What about your now experience?
My now experience is a little different. So
go on.
I have completed Draenor on maybe 10 different characters, like every quest, everything done. Well, okay, everything. I don't have all the collectibles, but I've completed every quest in every zone multiple times. I enjoy I think what I like most about WoD is that it takes something that I hated and made this really cool new spin on it. I love now the garrison. I didn't at the time because I really didn't get into it.
Sorry, not to interrupt you, but I forgot something I was going to say. Something else I liked about MOP. Account-wide mounts came with the start of MOP, I think.
Yes!
So that was 5.0, I think. That was MOP, wasn't it?
I think that was... I don't remember.
When did... Account-wide... Hold on, just hold your thought. I'm sorry.
I don't remember what that thought was. It's already gone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Mounts come out. I just wanted to say this before I forgot again.
Absolutely, no, yeah.
Because this is a biggie.
I feel that.
5.04, which is when most of your achievements, pets, and mounts were made account-wide. Yep.
And if that's pets, that means it's MOP because MOP made pets.
MOP made pets. I love the pet system. Love the account-wide mounts. That was another thing I hated. So, was not having account-wide mounts. So that was another boon that MOP brought. However, you could put that stuff on any other expansion, and I would still hate MOP for what it is. So,
yep.
So anyway,
doesn't change.
Yep. Just wanted to point that out. Yes, I am aware of account-wide mounts. That's a big reason why I play. So please continue.
All right. So garrisons. I know a lot of people really hate the garrisons for some reason, but I actually really enjoy them. I think they're really cool. I like that you can customize them. I mean, obviously not as much as people want to be able to. Like, I would totally make that into player housing and take all of the trophies and stuff you get from dungeons and everything from ESO and put that in here.
Same.
Like, that would be awesome. Like, if I could have the head of one of my enemies on my wall, that would be awesome.
Yes,
like, I can put that where I want. Okay, let's go.
Yep.
And I would like abuse the shit out of my garrison. That's what would happen.
Yep.
But
if I want to go get frickin' Deathwing's dick and put it, wait, shit, we're recording.
Like, have this nifty, cool spiral just monolith in my house. One needs to know what that is.
I forgot for a moment that we were recording.
Guys, we're a little nuts. We're kind of ridiculous.
Well, that's embarrassing. Yes, I would have Deathwing's dick on my wall, so that's out there now.
There you go.
Her and I have discussions like this, not when we're recording as well. So
yeah, we do.
Sorry, I kind of forgot. Anyway, yes, mounting your enemies.
That too. Yeah, so I would absolutely, probably another subject, but take all of the player housing from ESO and lump it into my garrison and be giddy. But
same.
I really like the shipyard thing that I found out about later on, after the expansion, and I thought it was the coolest thing. I never knew that was even a thing at all. I found out about it in BFA. Yep. The heirlooms and trinkets and things that were with it, and I know it's probably very frustrating during the content because a lot of the things about Shadowlands people have said were frustrating, which I don't get because I didn't find them that frustrating, but I think that's really cool to make things that you wouldn't normally get. You have access to everything that you need to begin with all of your heirlooms and things. But here's some extra stuff. Like, that's cool to me. Like, I love that there was some heirloom drops in WoD God, what was it? The axe or something? There was something off of one of the bosses
that was from Mop.
Was it Mop?
Heirloom weapons, which I unfortunately have like 2, because when they added those weren't out initially. When those came later, when they had changed the raid for Siege of Orgrimmar from flex to 10 and 10 normal, 25 normal 2, they changed to LFR normal heroic mythic, with mythic being the only one to keep a 20 man, and normal and heroic could be flex, which means you could have varying amounts of people. I had slowed down on my rating because it was at the very end. It was like the last few months or something that they had added that. My guild had disbanded. I didn't get to finish challenge mode. We were almost done. We only had like 2 or 3 dungeons left and they quit. Didn't get my phoenixes. Still mad. Anyway, the weapons, heirloom weapons came from Garrosh specifically. Later, way late in that expansion. And then the heirlooms from WoD were trinkets. And those came from the new mythic dungeon system. I have all those.
Okay. Yeah, I had one of the mop ones because my brother was the hardcore obnoxious piece of shit that kept pressuring me to play, and I was like, nope, I'm done.
I'm sorry.
But he got it, so it's on the other account over there. But that's fine. But yeah, so there are a lot of systems that I really enjoyed about WoD. You know, I know a lot of people didn't like those systems. I'm very sad that the raid tier got dropped, and I would have loved to have really gotten side. What was it, Arkandun or whatever it was?
Shatrath.
Shatrath, that's what it was.
Yep.
That would have been legit.
Yep, Shatrath was the tier that got dropped, raid tier. Yeah.
But, yeah, so later on, absolutely loved it. But, you know, my experiences during, because I didn't really play, it was just had this sour taste in mouth. And then having to do that entry scenario over and over and over. I mean, obviously now I do it willingly, but still, that's a different story.
Well, there was a skip for it, even at launch. You just didn't know what it was. It was secret.
Oh.
Do you remember what it is?
No.
If you go to Timeless Isle, there's an underwater cave.
Oh, that's right! That little cave, you sit by the fire and it takes you... Oh,
yep. And it would put you up in, like, northeastern Gorgrond somewhere. And I did that a lot. So I didn't do the scenario as many times as people think because I hated it after a while. Because, you know, it's repetitive. Like, I don't hate the scenario.
Really, really repetitive.
It's actually a fun scenario. I think it's one of the better intro scenarios that we've had. But... yeah, it gets a little old after a while. So, anyway,
it does. So looking at it now, looking at everything that I feel now about it, everything I feel about back then, honestly, I would probably put it behind Cata, in front of Vanilla.
All right, not bad. Not bad.
I think that's where I'd place it.
Not bad. And that's funny because that's actually exactly where I would put it, is in front of Vanilla on B as well.
Nice.
But my experiences were much more positive than yours. So, while you're being a little generous,
I'm very forgiving.
I'm a lot more critical, but I think it was... So if we're shifting to me, before we shift to me, do you have anything else you want to...
Yeah, as much as I loved the RP aspects of Vanilla... the modern take on WoD and all of the systems and the different things that they added, all the work they put into that, despite how much they dropped, I think it's worth the spot. Yeah,
agreed. All right.
So, that's my reasoning.
For me, I had a wonderful time in WoD. It was a breath of fresh air for me after Mists of Pandaria. We were back to what Warcraft, in my eyes, should be. Blood and Thunder. Thank you. You know, I may main Alliance now, but that doesn't mean I don't love my Horde characters, their lore, or everything that's behind them. I love them. It's what makes, it's the other half of Warcraft to me. Right. The other side of the same coin. So anyway, I loved the garrison. I loved everything about it. I loved that it was my own personal central city. I loved all the extra stuff that you could do with it, all the achievements, the buildings. I do wish that they were able to put in the choice to put it in the other zones, like was originally planned, but that got dropped. Lunarfall is gorgeous, though, for Alliance, and Frostfall is one of my favorite zones for Horde. But I loved WoD. I raided for all 3 raids in multiple difficulties. Actually, all the difficulties. I went through Mythic in all of them. I was Mistweaver. Technically I was a Fistweaver.
Fistweaver?
Yeah, because that was with when you still kind of can, when you can kind of break the spec and do kind of a fist weaving sort of thing where you do DPS but also heal. I was Fistweaver for the first 2 raids, and then it wasn't enough of an output for Hellfire, the last raid, Hellfire Citadel, because we dropped a healer, so we only had 3. That way they could add a DPS.
Right.
So I went for full Mistweaver and totally broke it by removing Uplift, going full Chi only healer. I never ran out of mana, and I used Chi Explosion. I still really miss that build because the AoE was out the ass. My tier was great. I had the trinket that made my mist go everywhere. And I would often make the other 2 healers mad. Oh, by the way, the shaman healer. Same friend from Mop, by the way. You know, the one that didn't talk to me.
Oh, ever get a reason for that?
No. She never brought it up. Just, hey, you want to go do a thing? One day. Anyway. So.
No.
And actually, I got her into that guild. We needed another healer, and I was like, well, I guess I know of one shaman. She wasn't a bad healer. I can't knock on that. She was a very good healer. So, credit where credit's due. Right. So I said, well, I do know someone. Let me see if she's up to stuff. They're like, yeah, sure. We trust you. You're our lead healer. I was raid lead, might I add, for healing. Heal lead. I even raid leaded when the raid leader wasn't there. Often. Nice. Actually, he wasn't there a lot. Because he had work and stuff and kids. Single dad type of thing. Anywho, I had a fantastic time in WoD. I loved the story. I mean, the zone stories are some of the best, I think, well done in the game on a zone questing story experience. Because they're really involving. And I was not a super, super hard into Horde fan. Like, I love the Horde, but Frostfire, I cried at the end of that. If you've never done it, I'm not going to give spoils. Because you will be shocked and you will cry if you have any heart about you. So
yeah,
Frostfire Ridge, a fantastic storyline. I just loved all of it. Even though I don't like Urel, I think she's a bitch. Even when it was live, Nazi. If you actually read through what she says and how she says it, she's so spiteful. But anyway,
and her progression was just not.
Well,
good.
Like, that was the thing
but
on
again,
her.
They dropped a whole bunch of stuff, too.
They dropped the Shatrath tier where she was supposed to star in. And because they dropped her middle arc, that might be why I partly don't like her very much. Because she became a Mary Sue for me. In writing terms, that's when you suddenly get your power and there's no explanation. I mean, like, yes, I know Velen passed profit to her in the Shadow Moon zone, but I'm just like, she's not deserving of it. And Murad,
and the personality flip was just weird.
Yeah, she got really high and mighty after she became that. Like before she became Prophet, she wasn't so bad. I didn't mind her.
Sweet.
But then when she suddenly became Prophet, she was like, I'm top bitch now. And I'm like, I didn't say that, but that was just how it came across.
Very much so.
I think the Shatrath tier was supposed to be with her because Murad, who I liked way more than her, sacrificed himself. He died to make sure she lived. And that's in Talador. I think that's when she was supposed to lead the raid to take back Shatrath.
Yeah, that would make
but
sense.
That
that's
didn't.
a good place for it.
Yeah, but that didn't make it into the game. That got cut. and that was her middle arc.
Rip Ray D tier.
Yeah, exactly. That tombstone in your garrison. There is one, so. But anyways, I had a fantastic time in WoD. I raided the whole time. I loved it. I was in a great guild the whole time. They disbanded at the end of WoD because of some guild drama with another guild because the guild leader and the raid leader were two different people. The guild lead, she was an absolute bitch and never showed up to anything. And when she was around, she was always talking about how her boyfriend's mythic raid was better because she'd go raid with her boyfriend's guild. And we're all like, then why aren't you in his guild? Pass guild lead and go raid with him. She's like, no, well, this is my guild. I'm like, you're never around.
It's not really your guild. You just
I didn't even know her
name.
name. And when she did come around, she was a healer. She was a priest. So she was the fourth wheel, if you will, when we didn't need her. So one of the DPS would have to sit out on her behalf. And it was just like, really? And she was a shit healer, by the way. Bad. Like, I don't knock on people that, are new. She was not new. She just didn't give a shit. And it was all in her personality. Anyway, so it became terrible, and she disbanded the guild, and all of the teammates I had were so mad, they just quit. I unfriended them. A lot of them ended up years later because they hadn't logged in for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And they're not coming back. So I just cleared out my friend list and said, forget it.
If you are one of those people and do come back, let us know.
Yeah, if you happen to know me, I was Eureka, little gnome monk. Yeah, I was a gnome at the time. But I doubt it. But anyway, I loved the addition of the mythic dungeons, the weekly mythics. That was awesome to me. I loved doing that, and I was always the first healer over the other two that they'd grab. Be like, hey, Yuri is what they called me, because I was Eureka. That was my character's name. Yuri, come do mythics. So I would go do all my mythics, and they're like, hey, thanks. And the other two healers always kind of got hind tit. It was pretty funny. But, anyway.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. I loved everything about WoD. The only thing was too much cut content. But if you actually look at what was going on with Blizzard at the time, there was something about bankruptcy, a lot of fraud or something.
Yeah.
They were not having a good time as a company. They had a ton of layoffs. It was like some 200 or 300 people or something. They were suffering at that time. Isn't that when Activision bought them? I think that's what saved them. When did
It might have been
Activision buy Blizzard? Nope, that's 2008. Never mind. Way off.
RIP.
But anyway.
Well, something happened.
anyway, they were having a hard time. There was a lot of stuff intercompany-wise, so I can't fault them for that. It's not like they were doing good and decided to drop content because they felt like it. They had to. They had to cut corners.
Right.
But again, I place it at a B because it brought a lot of good things. It brought the appearance system for transmog. Hallelujah! Because good grief, no
Keeping
more.
all of that mog.
Oh, in my bank, on my alts banks, on my alts banks. So much mog. And now you could have it. And they added tabards to transmog later.
That was nice.
I think maybe that part was Legion, but the appearance system itself. Oh, and the toy collection system. All that. A lot of good system changes came in WoD. So even if you didn't like the story, we have a lot of things brought. Like a lot.
Yeah, even if you had a really shitty experience like I did, there is so much that added that you can't really give it a terrible review.
No, because even if you did, like I said, with other expansions, pulled out those systems, WoD would be pretty bare.
Yeah.
I still liked WoD without all those systems changes. So,
Same.
But
I love the questing. I loved all of that. So
and even now, I do like going back and questing through it.
I do too.
It's great. It's not the best in the game, so I don't know why people say that, but regardless.
Still good.
Still good. So anyway, solid B for that. This is going to be a long episode. I kind of had a feeling it would be, though.
Sorry,
That's okay.
not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. You're getting a long one.
You get more of us today.
Yeah. So we got 3 expansions to go still. Our next one, if you're ready to move on.
I'm ready.
Is Legion. So you're up first. Go.
Okay, so I say it that way because that's my rating. And there's a reason. And
yes for S?
Yes for S.
Yes for S.
Okay, so all of the story of Legion, the versatility of the leveling experience, the class halls, the uniqueness of every single class and spec.
Yep.
10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 would do again and again and again. I have nothing negative to say about Legion.
I only have a few minor negative points about Legion because I'm on the same... everything she just said, I agree. I already put us both up at there at S. As you can see, I knew we would be both at S. Because
we might talk about it periodically.
Yeah, it's even like the questing is it's not just the story. When I look at questing and I talk about how questing I do or don't like something, I'm looking not just at the story or the aesthetics of the zone. I'm talking also about physically how the system of the quests in that zone is put together. And the ones in Legion, I think, are the best in the game, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Because they are precise, they get you A to B, you do not have doubling back almost ever, but maybe a couple situations. You're always moving forward, you're always in a new area, and they were designed very well. And it was still, in each zone, linear with its own story.
Right.
But didn't feel like you were constantly pushed in one path either, because you weren't being jostled back and forth to the same spot over and over and over.
Right.
It was very
I think the
clean.
worst is High Mountain, where you do a figure 8 with your questing, and that's the worst it gets. Like, that's great.
Yeah, and even then, it's just because High Mountain's the hub, so you go up and around, come back, but you don't linger there long.
Right.
And you're there.
You're just passing through.
You're just passing through. Yeah, exactly.
It's a drop off and continue.
Yep. So, and the raids, I loved all of the raids in that one. Oh, I forgot to mention too, in WoD, Blackrock Foundry is my favorite raid in the game. Just gonna drop that out there.
What? It's like you've done it a few times or something.
It was unintentionally also the raid that gave the most cold in BFA. Had no relation to me loving it. I loved it back in WoD, but
no,
still do. Anyway, Legion.
Yeah, I actually raided it again in Legion. That's when I started getting back into that, and I loved every single raid in Legion.
So did I. I had nothing against the raids themselves. The raids were fantastic. The only... I have a couple complaints about everything in general, but on the raiding scene, to compare, Legion's actually when I stopped raiding. I stopped in the Tomb of Sargeras. Not because of the raid, but because, mind you, I had to go... Sorry, people keep trying to come in my room even though I have my recording sign up. I'm like, I am busy, so they're distracting me. I'm gonna go strangle some people after this. Anyway, what was I saying?
Hi, Mom!
It was my mom, and then my brother, and then my other brother, and I'm like, guys, I'm recording.
There's a sign. There's a reason.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I stopped raiding. It was because, mind you, I had a fantastic raiding guild in WoD, but they disbanded. They'll quit.
Right.
So I had to get another guild, and I went through 3 guilds in Legion. 3! Oof. Because the first one I got into was okay, but then they turned out to be toxic assholes, so I had to quit. I quit that one. I was like, I'm out of here. And then the second one, they realm transferred twice. So
I remember you telling me about this one.
I followed, but they were fine. So, like, I enjoyed them, but then we did a merger. I don't know why. We had plenty of good players. We were raiding Mythic Nighthold. We were doing great, I thought. And after being someone who did raid lead and main healed in WoD, they were great by my standards. We were doing great. But they thought we were lagging behind and we needed the help from this other Mythic guild who was full of snooty patooty jerks, let me tell you.
Oh, of course.
Oh boy, major elitist syndrome. And it just destroyed the guild. So there was a split after the merger, literally like a month. It went south that fast. And I followed a few people that went to a different server. I transferred servers like 3 times. And we got into another guild, started raiding. It was going fine. I kind of wasn't feeling it, but I stuck around anyway because I was like, it'll get better. And then the three or four people or whoever it was that I followed quit. They quit playing the game entirely. They just stopped. And suddenly I was the only one with this guild I didn't know. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. I am tired of following people around and spending money and trying to constantly work my way up a new ladder. I'm done. Yep. I'm tired of the drama. I'm tired of the attention seeking that I don't want. I just want to be here. I just want to raid. I don't want to get into fights with everyone every 3 seconds. So I quit. I said, you know what? No more raiding. I left. I said, you guys are great. I wish you the best. They said, all right, well, see ya. There was nothing wrong with that guild. I just wasn't in the mood to climb up again, to get into the upper echelons, just to find there was a bunch of assholes sitting at the top of the tree. Right. You know what I mean? I was just tired of it because that's what it was every time. And I was done. So I quit raiding and it was the best thing I ever did. I enjoyed the game so much more. Now I did come back for AOTC at the end, but I pugged it. Yeah. I got my AOTC mount and it was fine. We spent like 4 hours on frickin' Argus. Whew! But he was a piece of work in a pug group. It was like 5 guildies of a teeny tiny guild, and they got like 15 to 20 people or whatever it was of pugs. We did actually okay, and I was going to do it on my tank, but they really needed a healer, so I was like, okay, I'll pull up my priest who I was raiding on at the time, and I had stopped. But he's a little under geared. He does have some current gear because I was kind of pugging occasionally. I had stopped guild raiding, but I was still pugging because I was like, I do kind of miss the raiding a little bit. I hadn't completely weaned myself. So he was somewhat up to snuff. And then we did it because they just needed that heals because, whoo boy, you need some heals on Argus. Let me tell you. I even switched from disc to holy just for stronger raid-wide output. But anyway, my complaints is actually the legendary system and the artifact power system. So probably nothing different than, for once, a lot of other people. But even then, like, at first, the legendaries were cool because I'm a big Diablo 3 fan and have been for many, many years. I love Diablo. Right. I love everything about it. D3 is the coolest thing ever. I'm looking forward to D4. And their legendary system is like that. You go do your rifts and things, and you might get a legendary drop once in a while. And that's cool. Like, it feels great. Yep. Like, in that game, got mine. It works. But when you do that in WoW, and you're literally having people fall behind because they don't have the legendaries they need because of bad luck. And I was one of those people, despite being higher up there in the meters. It didn't feel good. And then the constant
I saw 1 the entire time.
I had all I need by, later in the expansion, but it also made switching alts for raiding specifically not feel great. Oh yeah. And everything else, the alts were pretty great. It was actually fairly friendly, even with the class hull stuff.
Yeah.
It didn't feel too, limiting with alts. That's when I really actually started cranking up the amount of alts I had. And then Mage Tower. I hated it at the time, but it was a love-hate. Because I felt good after learning that I could do the Mage Tower like I did. I did it for all 36 specs. It was fun. Like, I hated it, but I loved it. Very love-hate. I don't really like the new version because it implements the time-walking scaling system, and it feels janky to me. The old one felt better because it was current. It wasn't scaled. It wasn't dampering you to current content standards by whatever metric they have. So I don't really like the current version.
Right.
Doesn't feel great. But anyway, that's kind of my only complaint was how you got your legendaries. They should have had a system for currency grinds for luck protection in advance. They put in that vendor later, but it was way too late. Everyone was done raiding by then. You know, and the artifact power, the need to constantly grind didn't feel great. Like, it was fun at first, but then after a while, I was like, I don't want to do these anymore, you know? But the artifacts themselves were really cool, and I loved the idea of powering up my weapon. I totally got suckered into that. I don't like the ending of the story and how we totally destroy our weapons. But, well, they're not, physically destroyed, but they might as well be. They're depowered.
No kidding.
They're dead.
They're useless.
They're dead batteries, which irks me. But anyway, so to me, those are my only two complaints. I don't have anything bad to say about it. Even now, that was the then experience. Even now, the questing is still some of the best. I still love the class halls, and I'm eager to go do them again with Canary. She hasn't done all of them.
I haven't.
And I was just like, I want to do that again. So, and that to me is what makes good content, is when you've done it and you look back and go, I want to do that again. So,
100%. I think the only real negative that affected me, because I wasn't hardcore paying attention to new content at the time, I was just enjoying what was there. I didn't know about the Mage Tower.
Yeah.
Didn't know about it until a month before it was going to get removed.
I know. I wish I knew you. I would have given tips.
There's no way I would have been able to complete it.
I know.
And so I'm very, very mad about it. Very mad. I hate FOMO. It just irks me. But,
Yeah, I'm that way with the Green Fire Warlock questline in MOP. I didn't know about it. I didn't know any warlocks. Of all the raiding I did, all the guildies I had, none of them were warlocks. We didn't have a warlock, crazy as that sounds. And so I did not know about it. So you can still get like the tome for the Green Fire, but you can't do the quest line. The quest line's gone. You can't get the title. And I'm just bummed because that's content that I didn't get to see despite being there because I didn't know about it. So it's the same thing. It's
really irritating.
Yep.
Yeah. If you're not reading everything all the time as it comes out, you're going to miss it, and I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, that's why, I, as annoying as it can be sometimes, that's why I have that Wowhead bot in our Discord, because it keeps us in the loop. Because they're really very good.
I'm very appreciative of it.
They're very good about letting you know about everything. Sometimes a little too good, but I appreciate it just because, like all that, like with Shadowlands recently, there was a lot of stay a while and listen stuff after the end of the quest line for the last patch. Well, for 9.2, for that main storyline patch. That I wouldn't have known about because they don't tell you about it. Because I never go talk to Telenara afterwards. Why would I go to the Arbiter area again? Right.
And even then, like, they're, what was it? Bolvar and Darien?
Yep.
Or not Darien.
Yeah, it was Darien.
It was Darien. Like, I would have never seen that.
Yeah,
like, I would have noticed that in passing months later.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
So yeah, still S tier.
Still S tier.
Favorite, probably my favorite expansion was
It's
Legion.
my absolute favorite, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was it.
That was top tier for me.
That was peak.
So, and it helped too that
So
at this point I was at the peak of my understanding of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how everything worked. I had done the raiding scene. I knew how to play all classes at that point, all 12. Well,
right.
yeah, it was all 12 because that's when Demon Hunters came.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Vengeance was the coolest thing ever, still is for me. And I understand
I like my wings.
they are fun. I understand how the currencies work. I know how to collect the things. You know what I mean? I was at peak comfortable with Legion. And
Right.
I think that is a major factor into why I was so endeared to it, because I wasn't stuck learning. I was just there with experience to enjoy the new stuff. And
Yeah.
that really stuck with me. So anyway, I think that's enough on Legion. Why don't we jump to the next one? Battle for Azeroth. So I'll let you go next. Go first again.
I have a love-hate relationship with Battle for Azeroth.
A lot of people
just
do.
Because this is when the story got personal for me, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, I feel that.
But I feel like Battle for Azeroth brought out some of the best parts of the WoW community. I really do. As far as story goes.
Tell me about it.
There was a lot of camaraderie and unification between the Horde and Alliance during all of the craziness that was going on. There was Shoulders for Sourfang. There was, a Horde and Alliance power walk across the continents in his honor. And, you still have people going into tree form and standing in fires, but, you have those people too. But,
oh, yeah.
There was some really beautiful community appreciation just for everything that was World of Warcraft at that time. I don't ever remember seeing anything like it. It was like exceptionally touching to see. And just so I got back into raiding during this time, like hardcore, like running a raiding team and everything, because I didn't have anyone to play with. My friends were quitting, so I'm like, okay, well, I met some random person that was streaming on Twitch because it gave me something to watch while I played my game. And I started talking, and they invited me to their guild. They were giving me random mounts that they had been picking up, and I'm like, okay, great. What's up?
Yeah.
You want to be my friend? Just start giving me mounts. I'm like, oh, hi. It's very easy to get my attention with shiny things. But so he actually, after I had joined his guild, and I server transferred to join his guild, but he joined the army, and so he deployed. He had to leave. He had to go to boot camp. He had to deploy. He had to do his thing. And so he's like, so I know we just met, but will you run my guild for me? Okay. So I was running his guild, is trying to, building a raid team. And there was a lot of drama that went on after months and months and months of me putting all this together. And my raid leader ran off with my entire raid team.
I know that feeling.
When I asked what was going on, and I was assaulted verbally by his wife. I was done. Once he came back, I transferred the guild back over to him without a word and left, because I was just I couldn't even look around, because every time I went around somewhere in Borealis, they were there. I would see them, and I would just get bitter and angry, and just I wouldn't want to play, and it was ruining the game for me. Yes, I'm that person. I'm sorry. But if I see someone that's like really, really wronged me, I want nothing to do with them. I will walk away. I will leave things that I enjoy to avoid feeling like that, because I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel like that in something I'm enjoying playing.
Yeah, no kidding. It taints it.
Who wants that? It does. So, yep, took all of my characters away. I mean, he's hit me up since then, but I was just, I'm not, nope, I was done.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got some really negative experiences about BFA, but I also was pulled into a horde raiding guild at the time, and I have some really fun memories from that. One of the main DPS off healers was a Tauren shaman, and I would chase him around constantly, telling him to get in my belly because I wanted steak.
Nice.
and it's with that raiding team that I got my Nizathian wriggling parasite.
I know, I'm still jealous about that. You got the glory of the...
I got my glory.
Yep.
Yeah, I got my glory. And it was fun being around them for a long time, but I was not a horde player. I don't like the fantasy of the horde. I'm very much a princesses and knights and fairies sort of person. So as much as I like several of the races of the horde, the visual aesthetics of questing in alliance controlled zones is more appealing to me. It's more enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
So I flip-flop back several times at but yeah, so I stayed with them for a long time until the end, and just looking at BFA, the systems and everything, I think I like it better than Cataclysm, just because there was, despite the smaller zones, the fewer zones, I was actually driven by the story. I was captivated. I was kept up to date on all of the endgame stuff just because I wanted to see what happened next in the story.
Yeah, they did have good story.
They had a really great story. I would constantly look for any new quest, going, "Oh shit, something new!" I'm excited. So I would definitely put it above Cataclysm, but not A tier.
B tier.
I would not say. Yeah, it's definitely B tier for me, but still really enjoyable, really good memories. Yeah.
Well, we're oddly very similar again on that. I'm gonna pop mine up.
It happens a lot.
At A tier, but it's a low A, so behind Kata for me. And mine is a totally different experience because this is the first expansion I did not raid at all. I didn't dungeon. I mean, I did a couple mythic dungeons at the very beginning with a friend I had. Actually, it was Solarfire T. But it was a guild that she was a part of. I did some mythics for a while. But as a preface, I loved the mythic singular dungeon system in WoD. I liked doing my one mythic per dungeon every week and being done. It felt good to me. I don't really care for the Mythic Plus system that they added in Legion. Like, it's cool.
Right.
But I didn't like the feeling of the constant, now I got this key, and we gotta do it at the same dungeon again, but harder. And then we got this one, we gotta do that dungeon again, but even harder. It just...
Right.
And for a lot of people, that constant, upward scaling is awesome. But for me, I'm not naturally competitive. I liked doing my thing and then being done and feeling done. And you don't have that with Mythic Plus. Now, like, you could argue, well, if you do your 15 a week, you are. I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm not in it for the gear. I was in it for the fun, and that was the difference. And
the only thing that the 15 gives me would be a mount, and it's too much difficulty for one mount.
For one mount, it's too much.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
into
worth it to me.
Yep. So I did a few Mythic Pluses at the beginning of BFA. But then I was just like, I'm not feeling it. And that guild kind of fell apart anyways. So I was like, I'm done. Like, I was done with raiding, so I switched to just mythics. And then after that, I was like, you know what? That was literally like in the first patch. That was maybe like the first 2 months. After that, I'd completely stopped. So my perspective is not from the elitist scene that I had been in the past few expansions. Now...
So we flip-flopped.
I was hardcore. We flip-flopped. I was absolute solo player. I played with Silver once in a while when she was around, but she wasn't around a lot because of family stuff. And so I got suddenly very comfortable. Like, I played solo a lot anyway. I was used to that. So this wasn't a problem. Don't take this as a woe is me thing. But I was kind of happy to get back to it just because now I could. And I was happy that I didn't have to raid anymore. It was freeing. I didn't have to be somewhere at a certain time. I didn't have to tell people what to do. I didn't have to be told what to do. I didn't have to make sure my gear was on par with blah, 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 blah.
Right.
I feel like getting this mount this week. I feel like leveling this character. I feel like working on my professions. It was so freeing. And because of that, I enjoyed BFA for what it was, with no competition, no competitive nature, immensely. I enjoyed the story up until a certain point, but we'll get to that. I enjoyed the every zone story, both Horde and Alliance. I enjoyed the endgame stories because there was more. There's the stuff where you do with Jaina and stuff about Thros, and then on the Horde side, there was that stuff with like just a lot of stuff that was going on, and it was just so interesting to me. Kulturist, I've always loved Kulturist. I've always loved the Zandalari, and just all of that together.
Oh yeah, all the new races, man.
All the new races. Gravy, I couldn't keep up. It was just. I had a fantastic time. I even loved Islands, and I know a lot of people hate it, but why? Even if you look at why they hate it, it's kind of their own fault. They had to grind it, I guess, for Azerite. Which I get. It's an artifact power reskin. I understand completely as a former raider. I get it. But that doesn't mean to me that the content itself was bad. I do wish that you didn't have to be timed in Islands, but I thought Islands and Warfronts, bite me, were actually great, and I missed them.
Yeah.
I liked everything about them. I liked the weekly quest with them. I like the slight Broken Shore-esque feeling where you had to, like with Broken Shore, you had the Mage Tower and a couple other buildings. You had to like put, you had to contribute to them as a group, as a server community, and pull them up. But the one in BFA, it was just on a timer, and then you could speed it up if you contributed to it, which I liked. And then owning Darkshore and all that stuff, that was all fun. Like, I enjoyed really everything about it, and the only few things I didn't like are honestly very minor, except for one of them. But again, we'll get to that. And so the minor dislikes, the reason it's not S tier is I still think the questing in Legion was better because they went back to a linear zone by zone progression for questing. You could only do each one in a certain order. You couldn't do them at any... Because in Legion, even when it was live, you could do any of the 4 zones in whatever order you wanted. You could not do that with BFA, and I was sad. The great zones. But I really wish I could go straight to Dressfar and skip Tiergard because it's my least favorite of the 3 on Alliance. And I'm just... despite all the stuff with Flynn down in the pirate stuff, like, that's fun with Freehold, but, it had a lot of great characters. I loved Warfronts, I loved Islands, I loved all that stuff. I even loved the N'Zoth stuff. I don't like how they really kind of ended it weird. With suddenly, anime beaming him and, he's dead now. But that was... Yeah. But, that aside, like, let's be real. Blizzard's never been great at endings.
They have not.
And I've just come to accept that, so I write it off. I know I'm probably not going to like the ending. So coming in with that, I like being surprised when they do something good. I know maybe that's harsh, but it's whatever. Everyone's got their flaws.
It is.
No company for gaming is perfect, and I've just never liked the endings of their stories. But anyway, that aside, I enjoyed the Old God stuff. I'm hard for Old Gods. Oh my gosh. If I could have an entire Black Empire expansion, I might actually pee myself all over the floor.
We would lose her for a year.
Oh man. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So what little tiny taste we had and going into Nyalotha and actually seeing that. Oh, it was beautiful. Amazing. And it ties to my love of Val'Shra and the Emerald Nightmare, which I didn't mention on the Legion portion. Love the Night Elf lore, the Satyr lore. Satyrs are one of my favorite races in the game. But the Emerald Nightmare itself is tied to old gods. And that's why, because of that link, it all feels awesome to me. So I loved the visions that they had. That was cool.
Visions were awesome.
Visions were cool. I enjoyed that, as difficult as it was. Well, you can still go do them.
I know, but I don't get the cool title.
No, the only thing they removed was the title. You can still get the mounts. You can still get all the transmog stuff tied to it. So,
really?
Yeah.
I thought they removed the mount too.
Nope. Just title.
I know what I'm doing.
As far as I'm aware, you can still get the mount because the Mad World achievement was just a title.
Well, shit, man.
It's just you could get both at the same time, if I'm remembering correctly, because they were two separate achievements. One was doing both of them and doing certain things, which got you the mount, and then the Mad World, you had to do that, but solo. You couldn't do it in a group.
Right.
And that's what gave you the, whatever the title was, I don't even remember now. Faceless one.
No. Yeah,
which I have.
Love
it. Love it. Where? It's okay. But yeah, I don't have any manager complaints except one, and we will get to that. I don't like Sylvanas. There you go.
Yeah,
I don't like.
Super mad about that.
Like,
super mad.
I loved the story of really the overall BFA stuff. I was very involved. But then when she was suddenly coming, I didn't like when she was at the beginning. Oh, Vol'jin's dead and now she's war chief. And I was like, are you serious? Whatever. And then I moved on. But then she was doing all this scheming stuff and making the Horde all evil when they're kind of really not. And I'm like, okay.
They really aren't.
All right. It's just political racial differences. It's not really a good or evil thing necessarily. Like, maybe back in the day, but it's not now. And so it's like, okay, whatever. But then she goes and burns the tree randomly, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of out there. And then she goes and captures Bane and tortures him, and she flew off the wall at that point. And I'm like, I'm liking her less and less and less. And granted, I didn't like her anyways. I'm one of those people that I've always felt she was shallow, personally. Nothing against the voice actor. She is wonderful. I mean, the character herself, Sylvanas, in her various forms, she's gorgeous. I've just never liked her. I don't have that deep love that some people have when they simp. I mean, look at her. You know, there's a bias there. I do have a bias, and I'm willing to admit that. But other than her meddling and her genocides, the rest of the expansion I thought was great. Like, if you literally removed her from the equation, I think that'd be an S-tier expansion, personally.
I agree, too. Although I do have to give them credit. As horrible as I thought the writing for Sylvanas was, it gave me a reason to really push and level a character through the expansion just to figure out what in the fucking hell is going on.
Yeah.
Like, what? No, absolutely not. Why are you... No, okay. We're getting to the bottom of this.
Well, that's kind of the thing about writing, for better or for worse. And this is something I learned because I got a degree in it, and I have contemplated going back and getting my master's. I could. I totally qualify.
Good.
But that's another year. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do another year of college. But anyways, for good writing, whether you like it or not, good writing invokes emotion.
It does.
It doesn't matter what emotion. But if you can say anything about BFA, it invoked emotion.
Oh my god, yeah.
You may have hated it, but that got its attention, for better or for worse. And so, you know, on the flip side of that, when writing is meh, and it's not memorable, and it doesn't invoke any feeling in you, that's, some would argue, and I would be one of those, that would say, that's worse than being bad.
Yeah,
because at least when it's bad, it's memorable.
It's memorable.
And that's what you want.
And no one's going to forget the burning of Teller's.
No one's going to forget that. Oh boy, oh. So,
no.
I don't like her, but it did invoke it. But if we could just remove her and maybe adjust how, like, have an opt-out system for the corruption stuff for alts at the end. I loved the corruption stuff. Like, that was cool to me. When you really get into that system with the cloak and the corruption on your armor, and you could, like, buy it and stuff and upgrade it.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I still never got the cool stuff. Rating all the time. I was like, I never got, what was it, Infinite Stars or whatever. I never got it.
I loved the tentacle one. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh yeah, that one.
But I had that. You could stack it on multiple pieces. So I would go into the visions because I had it on multiple pieces. I had the high tier tentacle. It was like, I can't remember what it's called. But the tentacle one where they would pop up and like shoot beams of death at their enemies. So I would just have these tentacles everywhere, just destroying enemies for me. And the whirlwind one that would freaking tornado of doom would come out.
Right.
That was awesome. And I had a high proc on that. So I liked all of that. However, I don't like that it
there
was...
should be opt-out systems.
Yes. I was playing a lot of alts at that time. This is my almost peak altage of my own volition. I wasn't yet doing like leveling testing. That came later. Which is why I have so many alts. But every time I went to a world quest...
We've downsized.
Yeah, we have. But every time I would go do a quest... A world quest, I mean, and I got a piece of gear, it was very common for my alts to get corruption. And 99% of my alts did not have the cloak. So if I wanted to go turn off the freaking corruption, because it was literally killing me, I had to go either opt out of that gear entirely, and just delete it, be like, oh, well, rip that. Or I had to go get the dang cloak, and then grind a little bit of currency to cleanse the gear. You know how annoying that is? Can I just opt out of it entirely? Like, it was a great system on the ones I wanted it on. And so that was a real rub for me at the end. And Azerite gear. Azerite gear was cool, but it was weak. It felt lacking to me, but it wasn't
Although
bad.
I did like stacking speed buffs.
Yeah, I liked stacking speeds. It did have its perks. I liked parts of it, so to me it wasn't bad. It was just
Yeah,
could have been better.
I agree.
It wasn't flashy enough for considering this is literally the blood of the Titan of our planet that we're using to amplify our gear. I think it should do a little more than increase my speed by 10%. So
agreed.
You know what I mean? I mean, it did way more than that, but you get my point.
Yeah.
It just felt lackluster. But it was still kind of cool, you know, playing with that. It was an external system that was neat. And it didn't damage you like the corruption stuff for having it without the cloak.
This is true.
But anyway, like, besides those complaints, BFA is still an A tier for me, just because.
And I did really like the random drop catch-up gear. That was cool.
Yeah, that was nice too. Yep. That was when they started introducing BOA gear for that expansion, because they had BOA catch-up gear in MOP from Timeless, but it wasn't of a valuable item level, in my opinion. And then the stuff they had in WoD was all BOP. Legion was also BOP for the catch-up gear. Catch-up gear is nothing new, but the BOA stuff came back.
That was legit.
That was legit. And the Benthic gear, best ever. Still love it.
Benthic was awesome. Still useful.
Mechagon, one of my favorite end game zones in the game. Right up there with Molten Front and Isle of Thunder. Mechagon, I had a blast. No pun intended. So, yeah, A tier for me on Battle for Azeroth. It's a low A, because it's right after Kata, but, you know, we're pretty close on that one, I think.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close.
Yeah. So, alright, so enough on Battle for Azeroth. Let's move on to the last current expansion, because we are at the dwindling and the possible final year of Shadowlands, currently when this episode is airing. And so this is the last expansion until 10.0, which as 10.0 is being announced this Tuesday as of this recording. So
I'm so excited.
That's why I kind of wanted to do this tier now, because when that tier list now, because when that announcement comes out, that's all I'm going to be thinking about.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to be able to analyze past expansions for quite a while, so I'm psyched.
Also, hi, future me!
Hi, future me! Yes. All right, so Shadowlands, I'll let you go first. We are in the thick of Shadowlands. What are your thoughts?
Yes, we are in the thick of Shadowlands. We pretty much, I think I stopped playing Shadowlands for maybe 2 months. Maybe? I think that's about it. So I've been pretty much playing Shadowlands and current content, not like just going back and doing old stuff, but playing content, Shadowlands, since it launched, for the most part. And I know people are going to probably disagree with me wholeheartedly on this because they usually do when content is current.
Yep. So you can keep that in mind. Everybody did when WAP was out, and Legion was the worst
we'll see
ever.
what y'all say in a few years. Come back to this video. We'll talk.
People even say WAD is good now. Can you believe that? I've been seeing that go around.
Well, see, well, that's the thing. Like, I go back to WAD and I love it, but I hated it when it was live.
The only one I hated when it was, well, live was Mop and Prior. All the new ones I thought were great, but you know, whatever. Anyway.
But for Shadowlands, I actually would classify it as A tier.
Yeah? Before or after Wrath?
After Wrath, obviously.
I thought
obviously.
So. Obviously.
But, and I have reasons before everyone starts yelling and screaming. Please do so in the comments and we'll discuss later.
Yes, please do. Scream, insult me, tell me how much you hate me and how wrong I am. It helps my algorithm. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We will actually comment and continue this conversation in the comments. So please feel free to give us your opinions. We love it.
Tell me how wrong we are.
But, you know, I know that the time gating has been really frustrating for a lot of people, but I actually enjoy that aspect of it this time around. I don't know what makes it different. I really don't. But it's made it so that I am not constantly rushing to get it done. I get as much done as I can. That's all I can do this week. Okay, I'm going to go do other things. I have time to go do that old content that I like to do. I have time to go level new alts. You know, I started this expansion with maybe 16 max level alts, and now I have 50 plus. So I've been able to do the things I've always wanted to do while still maintaining up-to-date, current, not competitive, but max level gear without it being a slog.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed that. Not to mention the 42 mounts that came with the launch of Shadowlands.
Oh, it was more than 42. It was like 140 something or whatever
it was absolutely ridiculous how many mounts. And as collectors, you know, that's obviously huge for us. But we actually put together a list so that we could track, you know, the mounts that we had. Mine's obviously a lot less than Kraken's, but just looking comparatively, the vanilla through about I'd say WAD fits mostly on the screen in an Excel sheet, and then you have Legion.
Yep.
And then you have BFA, and it's okay, and then you have Shadowlands.
Yeah. Yeah, Legion.
It's absolutely redonkulous.
Legion, BFA, and Shadowlands have the most mounts in game, and they just keep going up dramatically.
Yeah. And the list was ridiculous before Zereth Mortis. And then they brought out Zereth Mortis, and
that's the one that added some 40 mounts or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay.
Yep.
I remember the 40-something being a thing, and I couldn't remember where it was from. But it was Zereth Mortis. And so as a collector, because, okay, I guess I should have prefaced this. So at the beginning of Shadowlands, when it launched, I was still in that raiding guild. And so they were switching up the raid team. And I'm like, okay, so what's needed? Because I'm that person, you know, I'll play whatever's needed because I really enjoy all the classes anyway. And they're like, okay, well, we need a healer. I'm like, okay, well, I've always wanted to play a priest. You know, I'll go play disc, and that's something that I've wanted to learn for a while. So I was leveling disc. They were pressuring me. Come on, are you ready to go? Because 3 days in, we're gonna hit raid. I'm like, dude. So I boosted it. start working on my gear, and they're like, yeah, our healers are full. I'm like, I just spent $60 on this. Okay. What do we need now? It's like, oh, we could use Warlock. We need a Warlock. I'm like, okay, I'll play Warlock. So I boosted the Warlock because they're ready to go now. Started getting it gear. Yeah, we don't need a Warlock. I left.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And this is where my hardcore collector side came in. So I hit that point that you hit mid-Legion.
Yep, where you were just like, you know what? I'm done.
I'm done. And
I'm tired of this.
So I went through the Shadowlands storyline, read through all the quests, enjoyed the process for the first time in a very, very long time. And that has a lot of meaning to me.
Isn't it interesting how you can like an expansion more if you actually do the content?
Pay attention. Yeah, weird.
If you actually,
you're not just rushing to the end.
Funny that.
So I know that I have a lot of bitterness towards 1%ers that comes out every now and then. And by 1%er, I mean the competitive players. Because I was one very recently. But I was rushed so hard that I couldn't enjoy my game anymore. And so that's where that comes from. It's not anything against the people. It's just the style play is really not me. But that's all we hear from. So it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Shadowlands. Shadowlands. So yeah, I've been really enjoying the content. I loved the opening of Korthia. I thought that was amazing. I've actually loved the chapter progression, how we've been blocked. Because again, it paces it. There's more time to enjoy things. I know people want to just rush and do, again, the end game content, but I've actually really enjoyed the pacing because it's been week by week by week. So every week there's always something new. There's always something you can get each week. Something has opened up to you, and I've really enjoyed that. So after going through all of it, I've actually enjoyed this story wrap up for the first time. I liked the way they wrapped it up.
You talking about the end of the expansion?
Yeah, which I'm not going to spoil.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed how they tied everything together, how they did what I feel was correcting some mistakes.
Agreed.
Some very grievous ones. But I did enjoy that. I'm very, very curious because of the ending, how we're moving forward. So I'm very eager for Tuesday.
Yeah, because pause you for a second. I agree before I forget this point because I had mentioned this one before when we went through it. This ending felt very final. For once, I actually liked the ending of an expansion of the story. And I was like, this actually wraps up a lot. And they're actually addressing a lot of things that have been totally not addressed. And there's not some press. Like, there's a few. Like, we still have the freaking sword in the planet. We still got a lot of things we got to deal with. We still have Gan and Gilneas, and the Night Elves still need another home. Like, there's still other things. But as far as the big glaring thing that we had on our faces for the past two expansions, it's been wrapped up. And I felt they did actually a pretty good job about it, which is impressive because I'd hated it up until that point.
Right?
So, anyway, continue.
To get into this a little deeper, I actually hated the Shadowlands story. Didn't really enjoy the story. And so once I had completed it for the first time, I haven't touched it since.
Are you talking about the overarching plot or the
overarching
story?
Plot?
Yes, because there is a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference. I like the zones, but if I can avoid that just overarching plot, I'm gonna, because I'm nah.
Yeah, I feel that.
But the way they wrapped it up, actually going and looking back at it now makes it kind of enjoyable. And there's a little part of me that wants to, you know what, maybe I'll just go back and, knowing what I know now, I want to see where things point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's something that I've always enjoyed doing about, reading books, reading stories, and you get to the end and you take a while to digest and you go, okay, now that I know that, I'm going to read it again. And you get through it and you're like, oh, that's why he did that. That's why she did that. Oh, that's why they did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy that psychological analysis of characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's fun. I enjoy it too.
But yeah, so just the systems they implemented, I really hate the conduit system. Can't stand it. I wish I could opt out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want them. I don't use it. I'm not an endgame player. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no need for it, and it's just taking away from other stuff that I do want.
Yeah.
So didn't enjoy that at all. I do like the semi-companion system thing where, you've got like Nadia, you've got Braun, you've got Mykonigos,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that they just randomly show up and help you. I think that's kind of cool because they're not there just following you, pulling shit.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then, Braun shows up and heals me, and I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Understandable.
I'm just watching that ticker. Like, come on, Braun, where are you?
No kidding.
And so I did enjoy a lot of the systems they implemented. I enjoyed the renown system. I don't necessarily enjoy the Covenant specials so much.
Mm-hmm.
The mini games, I'm not really into that. But the rest of the Covenant specific things, just the way they've had it set up, I really do enjoy. I like the Grateful Offerings, especially now that they've opened it up.
Mm-hmm.
Before it seemed like a hurdle I would never reach because I'm just not competitive and eager enough.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can actually get the things that I've been wanting since I started Shadowlands, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they kept it from people. They made it difficult so that you couldn't just get everything and be done, and then there's nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I know people hate time gating, but that's why it's there. It's to keep you playing the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
people may view that as a negative, but oftentimes it's a positive, because imagine if you could do everything, which there's a lot to do in Shadowlands. Imagine if you could do everything in a couple months. People will be bitching to their mothers and back about how there's nothing to do because they're already done with everything, because they no-lifed it for every day 2 months straight. And people would do that despite
and they
how
did
much
do
content's there. And they did for what you could do.
Yeah, and then the argument is, well, they need to make more content. It's like, do you realize how much content they make and how much effort that takes?
It's a lot of
If you
work.
stopped playing now and they didn't time gate it, they wouldn't have the funds to make the next expansion.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I really enjoyed the way they set up Shadowlands. I was very confused with the overarching plot, but the wrap-up is great.
Mm-hmm.
I love all the collectibles that they've implemented, which is amazing. I like that they implemented flying in every single endgame zone, which they have never done.
Korthia doesn't have it.
Well, okay, yeah, Korthia doesn't have it, but they implemented flying with the release of Korthia, so that's probably why it's triggering there. But
With the release of Zereth Mortis?
No, once you unlocked Korthia, and you got to the.
Oh, you mean flying
in
the leveling
the main
zones?
zone? Yeah,
you said
in the
end
leveling
zones, so
yeah. Sorry. Okay, so the Zereth Mortis version, which would be our Argus.
Mm-hmm.
Argus never had it. There are a couple zones that have never got it, that never will get it. Heck, even in BC zones, just don't have it. Those starting zones will never have flying.
They
Don't
might
get why,
someday.
but
Who knows? Say that
so-
again so we can hopefully get that in 925. Just
Yeah, let's go. Come on. Flying in all of the zones, please. I mean, I know when people were talking about it, about Argus and Legion, they're like, it wasn't built for flying. I'm like, okay, but it could be.
Well, I'm only saying for questing because I am of that camp of I do not want flying in my endgame zones. I actually hate it. I do not like it. To me, it breaks immersion. It's not fun. Everyone's nerf Zergan every damn rare before you can get to it because they can fly, and those that can't fly yet because they started late, they're like, what the fuck? I can't get my damn achievement done so I can get damn flying. And I don't like that. So I'm of that camp. True. But as far as the non-in-game zones, they should all have flying.
There's no reason why Silver Moon shouldn't have flying. There's no reason why the Draenei zones shouldn't have flying. Like, come on.
Agreed.
Like, why? Really, why?
Yep.
But, But yeah, so solid A, definitely under Wrath because I have such fond memories of Wrath. But yeah, solid A for me. Sorry, I rambled.
No, you're fine. Your turn to ramble. So my turn then. Shadowlands for me, I've kind of been waffling between a low A or a high B. I think I might settle on high B. I don't hate it. It feels it's below Kata and BFA for me. Above WoD and Vanilla. It's just kind of right in the middle because I do love the lore, the rich history that they've woven in with the Dreadlords. Bite me. I like all that stuff. I like the Jailer. Bite me again. I like him. I love the Maw Sworn. I like the Maw. Bite me. I thought it was fun. Again, because I like, not having that flying. I think it makes it more fun. It's more challenging. Yep. I like the stories that they had in each zone. Ardenweald is beautiful. One of my favorites now. Revendreth is gorgeous, and Nathrius is my bae. Nathrius.
Big Daddy B, hi, what's up?
Hey, baby boy. I got a nice neck right here for ya.
Yeah, please, bite away.
I'm a big vampire hoe, so we'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And the fact, I've always thought the Dreadlords were cool too, so having him all woven up with that, I just love that tie-in because it just feels awesome to me. I love the Jailer and all his shtick. I like how Helia is still tied up in all this with the Maw Sworn and the Kyrian, and just like with the Valkyr, I like that tie-in there. I like seeing Odin's Eye. That was cool.
That's pretty awesome.
I liked seeing Wansamdi and Muzala and all that come together and stuff with Vol'jin. I won't give any spoilers, but he's wrapped up in that too.
That was awesome, by the way. I was just talking about him the other day.
Yep. I liked the Bastion stuff. I like how it made me feel things because Bastion, I was like, they're taking people's memories. I'm going to side with the baddies here. You can't do that. I'm like, on one hand, I get it because they need to keep order. I get it. And the people that are sent here are people who need to have their memories taken because they just can't handle them.
Right.
And I get that because it's some traumatic past experience thing, and forgetting all of that lets them move on and be new and pure. But on the other hand, so I liked that. I loved that feeling. And it just, all of, like, Maldraxxus was probably my least favorite, but I feel like it got cut short. It needed more.
I feel like it did too. Everything was just short in Maldraxxus.
It was short in Maldraxxus. Everything from the leveling, the story, like, it didn't have enough. I wanted to explore the houses more. I wanted to see, I just wanted more out of it. Crexus immediately dies. It's not even a spoiler. He's on the freaking loading screen, and he's not even there. He says, like, 10 words. And it's okay. But I love Mograine and Draka, and like all that was cool. So story-wise, as far as all that, I love it. Totally love it. Really enjoy it. Not as much as Legion, not as much as BFA, but a very close third in that retrospect. Systems are a different story. I don't hate them, but I don't love them. Even with the ability now to go between all 4 covenants at any moment, it feels clunky because I know it was not what they meant. They meant for us to be in one, which I still think was kind of not a good idea from the start. I get why they did it, why they wanted it. They wanted your choices to matter. I didn't agree. Yes, I was kind of a pull the ripcord person, but at the same time I was like, when you do that though, it's gonna feel clunky. It's not gonna feel good. Like, it feels good, but kind of clunky, and it is. It feels clunky to me, and I don't like the sheer amount of anima farming you have to do to...
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot. Like, it's like artifact power and azurite power times 10. I'm still anima farming.
Yep.
I still don't have everything, and I'm a hardcore collector. Granted, I got a very late start. I did Shadowlands. I quested through all of it with Silverfire T when she was playing with me, and we did all the zones together. But then she had to stop playing, and she hasn't been back since because of real life stuff going on. And so right after that, I immediately decided, okay, well, there's been a leveling squish. I need to make a leveling guide. I needed one because it was time for me to start leveling alts. I went right into my alts. And so I immediately had to go test all the old zones. So I had stopped playing Shadowlands entirely until July of 2021.
Yep. And thankfully, at that point, she met someone who'd been doing it religiously since launch. And it worked out.
Yeah, mostly, but we didn't play together for a good few months, really.
No,
we kind of did, but I don't even remember much because I was too busy working. I was too busy testing. So I got a late start. I didn't really play Shadowlands until July, 9-ish, 10 months-ish after launch. I mean, I did the launch stuff, I did all the zones and things, but anyway. But that aside, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan. Like, the Covenants are cool. The theming of them is cool. But I wish you could just be a part of all of them simultaneously and stop having to frickin' change every time you need to do something.
Agree.
I don't like this restriction between them. I'm frickin' the champion of Azeroth. Why can't literally the one here supposedly saving the damn Shadowlands? Why can't I be a champion of all 4 Covenants? Shouldn't they all respect me equally?
You know what I really liked was actually in the PTR when they were first coming out with the Covenant swapping ability. And they had it so you could see all of your Covenant progresses in bars in the renown screen.
Yeah.
I was so mad when they didn't do that. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, I want to be able to see my renown of all of them. I don't want to have to switch every single time I want to check something.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah. Like, on one hand, renown is basically just a reputation, and I get that. So, reputation you need separately. But I'm strongly under the impression of we're here to save the Shadowlands. Not the Kyrian.
Not just you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So shouldn't we kind of band together under, one renown system and have renown with the Shadowlands? And that's not just renown. This is including, the Covenant progression stuff. Just all of it. Because I'm like, why do I have to be divided across 4 when I'm helping all of you? I should be helping all of you. If I'm only helping the Venthyr and everyone else chokes and dies, isn't that kind of a problem for the Shadowlands?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Story-wise. But, like, that aside, I'm not a big fan of a lot of it. And I will say something. I don't actually like the protoform synthesis stuff in Jet Forest. I don't.
It drops are a little pitiful pain.
It's not just that. It's just complex. There's so many different items that you need just to make one freaking mount. And it takes forever. You gotta farm the hell out of it to get enough motes, to get all this thing, to get this thing. And it's annoying to me. Because you gotta go get the recipes. Well, you gotta farm ciphers. You gotta farm the ciphers, gotta get the thing, gotta wait for the thing, and then when it's unlocked, then you can go get the recipes, and when you get the recipes, then you can start farming the shit that you need to make the thing. And it's just like, I'm not a fan of it. So it's more just beautiful. I love the concept and the story and the lore behind it. Really neat. I don't like the mount grinding. I know. Not a favorite, not a fan. So
that's fair.
That's kind of why Shadowlands is a solid B, really, for me. It's a good expansion for what it is. But in comparison to other expansions, I like Legion, Kata, and BFA more, personally. Because it's Shadowlands, intentional or not, feels limiting.
Right.
In a way, just because of how things are designed. Whereas BFA, to me, felt very open. Because the only limitation, really, was the faction.
Right.
Which is still very open. As far as this isn't just a rep grind thing in Shadowlands, where you can grind your rep with all of them and you're good. You literally have to move between each frickin' rep/covenant, because that's what it is. It's a type of rep, really, in garrison form, you know? And it gets old. It's already kind of wearing on me. I'm already kind of tired of it. And I'm not even close to being done with it. Because, like, the cosmetics are beautiful. The mounts are amazing. I want all of them. I want all the pets. I want all the titles. Like, all the collector stuff is some of my favorite in the game now. And because of that, and the lore of the Shadowlands, I think that's why it's a B. But if it didn't have that, it would be lower for me. Because I just... Makes sense. I don't like a lot of the systems. I'm a very systems person. Like, you can love the story all you want, but it doesn't feel good to play. And if it doesn't feel good, that's why I didn't like Vanilla, BC, Wrath. It felt clunky. And this Shadowlands feels clunky. I don't like the separation between Threads of Fate and the campaign. I like what they were trying to do. I don't like the separation. I don't like the removal of that story.
That could definitely have been done better.
That could have been done better. And I know that was kind of a last-minute addition based on feedback, which is fantastic that they decided to do that. I applaud them for it. Because if they didn't, we would be going through that campaign. And we would be stuck at 6 to 8 hours per character.
Yeah, I'd be irritated.
Over and over and over. When, now we can do it in 4. Like, technically, like, on that note, Shadowlands actually has some of the fastest current expansion leveling ever. Even over BFA, even over Legion. I'm talking about when that expansion is live and that 10 or 5 levels or whatever that you have to do. It's some of the fastest. But because it's now in comparison to the previous 50 levels, it feels like the longest.
It does.
So it kind of has that kind of going against it too, just because it's like, yeah. And having alts doesn't really benefit me a lot in this expansion either.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
It was going to, and then they took it away and made it easy for you to do it on 3 characters.
Which I'm not complaining about. I'm doing it on 5 different characters. And I'm glad that's all I have to do. But see, that's kind of what I'm getting at. I'm glad that's all I have to do. Which means the systems aren't as great as they should be. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Versus Legion. I want to go back and do the class halls again. That's the difference.
Yeah. That's a big difference.
Big difference. So, while Shadowlands is absolutely not a fail, and it's a pretty decent, wholesome expansion, there's a lot of content, stupid amount of content in Shadowlands. It's a solid B for me.
Fair enough.
So yeah, that's our tier list. You and I both have, since you can't see my screen, you and I both have, let's do a run through here. You and I both have Legion at S. I have Kata and BFA at A. You have Wrath and Shadowlands at A. I have Shadowlands, WoD, and Vanilla at B. You have BFA, Kata, WoD, and Vanilla at B. I have Wrath at C. You have Mop at C. You and I both have BC at D. And then I have Mr. Pandaria as DF. DF.
Death. It's death.
Oh, it's diff. Oh yeah, and one more thing I wanted to add. Another reason why I don't like Mop is Jaina in Mop was portrayed very poorly. I didn't like her sudden anger change of her just exploding and going full Sylvanas, shall I say. I didn't like that. That was very off character for her, to me.
Yeah.
And it made her look bad as a character. Granted, everyone's got their off days, but for 2 years, come on.
Yeah. 2 years and the actions you pulled.
Yeah, it's a lot of murder. The Purge of Dalaran is kind of...
It's almost genocide, sweetie.
It was a genocide. A lot of people died.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people died. But anyway, that's our tier list. I think that's... We're quite similar on some areas, which is interesting. I kind of expected it, to be honest, but
we have a lot of very similar opinions on things.
We do, which is kind of nice because I don't mind having differentiating opinions on with friends. But when you get a friend that agrees with you on like 99% of stuff, it's
kind of nice.
It really is nice. I'm just saying.
And if you look at the tier list, it's a lot of our differences are from personal experiences during those expansions.
Yep.
So that's pretty interesting to see.
And I try to take it to a critical point as well, not just personal experiences, but they do factor in.
They do.
For you more than me, I think, but
yeah, but mostly because my personal experiences make me quit playing and then I don't actually experience it.
Yeah, my personal experience is not necessarily tied to other people that make me quit. It's just whether the expansion itself is appealing.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, before we quit, even though this is almost 3 freaking hour podcast, let's see. Can you see that there? Yeah, it looks like you can. I'm gonna pull this up here. Podcast. Where did I have that? Ah, here it is. I had it in the wrong section. I wanted to do one more thing. Let's move this here. So I wanted to jump in because since this is the expansion episode, 10.0 is being announced and likely the pre-order becoming available. I'm betting money on it this next Tuesday as of this episode. So when this airs on Saturday, 3 days, it'll be here. And so there was a theme I had noticed, in addition to all the other things as to why, Shadowlands or the 10.0 might be dragon themed. Do you have any predictions about why it'll be dragon themed or why it won't be at all? I know I'm dropping in this on the fly, but...
You are a little bit, but I do better on the fly than when we try to plan them out. So
you do. So I didn't tell you.
Sneaky.
So do you have anything that comes to mind?
So one of the big things that comes to my mind, besides the list that I can actually see right there,
don't look at that. Don't look at that.
Don't look at that. Don't look at that. Is how grievously Rathian fell off the face of the earth.
He did, didn't he? He was a big player, and then
he
suddenly
was huge, and then nothing.
Well, remember. Oh, no, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh well. Remember he's searching for the Dragon Isles too, and all of BFA.
Yeah, he was, and then all the shit with Sylvanas started happening, and he was just nowhere.
Yeah, he's just deuces,
just gone, and I'm like, what in the world? Like. And I am a hardcore Randuin supporter.
Oh, same. Oh, man.
Here.
Oh, please.
So,
I want to see that.
He needs you. Where are you?
Where are you? You need to save your boyfriend.
Rhonda, I need you.
Sorry. Damn it, Xavius. I love you. Xavius, one of my favorite villains.
Love him. But yeah, so Rathian just hardcore fell off the face of the earth. Nothing. Yep. I mean, I'm still curious. I don't know if it's spoilers or not, if I can talk about this.
I mean,
potential spoiler warning.
If they're listening to almost 3 hours for now, I mean, they're buckled in, so just go for it.
Yeah, they're buckled in. Okay.
Spoiler warning, I guess. Spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1, go.
I guess it's going to be the 925 where we talk to Khadgar.
Yes,
who's
Khadgar's
been missing
in
as well.
Uh-huh.
So I'm really interested to hear what he has to say. Another big indicator for me is Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
She was brought to life in Ardenweald. She's a creature
of
reason? The Shadowlands, but why?
Why? They could have just left her. She was dead. It was done. But
it's
why?
No difference than Ursoc.
Yep, Ursoc's
no
gone.
Different.
Yep.
Why is Sarah?
Why is Sarah? And what is this going to play in with a loon and all of that? Because the Wintergreen refers to a loon as her sister. And now has her dragon, her sister's dragon of dreams here. And what does that tie in with Azeroth, who's just been assaulted by the jailer?
Exactly.
Which is all dragon related. Because if you actually look back at the history, the dragons are very intertwined with the planet because of the Titans. The aspects are who they are because they were blessed, because of their actions to protect the planet way back when. And Sarah herself is tied in with the dream very, very closely, which is a very important role because that dream is Azeroth's dream, the Titan, the baby Titan. That is her dream. Which is a curious concept.
And I know her daughter's still around, and she's trying, but she's been fumbling.
Not an aspect.
Yeah, she's not.
She's been trying.
What's going to happen? Oh, poor thing. She has been trying, and you can see it in that poor thing. Oh,
Mathera, I think is her name. Mathera? Something like that. It's very close to that.
That's my character's name.
Maybe that's why, but it's very close. Is Sarah's daughter. Yeah, Marithra.
Marithra. There we go.
I knew it was close.
I'm like, no, Mathera is my character.
It's close enough. Well, Maris is also a green dragon, so... Well, kind of.
No, she was taken in by green dragons.
She's basically a green dragon. If you're raised by something, you basically become it. Bite me. Anyway. So all that is very tied in with dragons. So if it's going to be an Azeroth-focused expansion, they'd be remiss to not have the dragons in at least a little bit.
And
honestly.
Something else that is a big indicator besides the implementation of Chromie time, which you can say is, oh, that's just Blizz doing their thing, but that's a huge dragon meddling thing.
Yep. That's
huge.
That's big dragon influence. Literally letting us step through time. If you actually look at the lore implications of that. I wish they would do more with the Bronze Drakes and Nuzdormu and the ability to move between time, because we have the Caverns of Time right there. But that's a whole different discussion on its own.
Yeah.
So deep.
Not only you have the Bronze Drake influence, you have the Green Dragon influence, and I was about to say something, and then you interrupted me, and now it's gone out the window. And
you were talking about Rathian and how he's dropped off the face, and then you were talking about Khadgar, and you're excited to see what he says.
I'm excited.
Yep.
It was something about Chromie, because Chromie came up because I was thinking about something else. I don't remember.
Well, you can't blame this on me. You're the ditz.
I'm not blaming it on you. I'm a ditz. I'm 100% a ditz, and it just flies out.
You told me you were going to take notes as you thought of things.
I know. Well, I wasn't expecting to be doing this tonight.
What? You know today's Friday. We always record on Fridays.
Well, I know, but we were doing the tier list.
You still said you were going to take notes, and you've yet to do that.
I know.
Excuse me while I scold my employee, everyone.
But... God, yeah, there's just so much going on with the dragons themselves. Not even to mention everything that N'Zoth had his hands in, all of the Twilight Drakes, the Void corruption.
Yeah.
And,
the Infinite Flight's a big one.
Oh my god, yeah. They should be cropping up. Oh, that's where I was going with it. Time.
Uh-huh. What
At
about
the beginning of Shadowlands, they mentioned that there was going to be a huge time skip because time works differently.
Yeah, it was either mentioned directly, they either said it directly or it was inferred. I don't remember which, but that's what was taken away from it.
That's why it made me think about Chromie. There we go. I found it. Took me a second.
Because they had said time works differently in the Shadowlands, which makes sense. It's a different plane of existence entirely for not mortals, and we're there.
Yep.
So what's, like, physically in game, we may be going between Shadowlands and, Azeroth, but story-wise, we're technically not.
Yeah, we technically never leave.
No, they never redirect us, besides maybe a couple small things, like the ones with the Kyrian.
And it's still we don't directly interact with anything beyond this little piece of the world that's disconnected.
And even then, when we do the Kyrian quest and we go to Lakeshire, what happens? Scourge.
We're dealing with wrath.
We're dealing with... It's not wrath, it's current. That's the thing. Because remember, that's for the Ascension.
Right.
That's Clea and the others' Ascension. They become carriers, or whatever they're called, to fairy souls. That is current.
See, when I had first saw it, I'm like, oh, we're traveling back in time. That's weird.
No.
Okay, sure.
No.
But with some things that have been coming up, specifically,
Yep.
that are coming out in the next expansion that have been leaked, so I'm not going to talk about it. But, that's current.
Well, and even and another spoiler, so again, but if you didn't get the spoiler warning before, it's too damn late at this point. 925, there's a Scourge invasion that attacks Silvermoon. So there's something going on, and keep in mind that the Helm of Domination is broken. There is no longer a Lich King, so what happens to the Scourge? I don't know.
Yeah.
They're gonna go crazy, I guess. So,
and not to mention, what happens when a big source of power suddenly vacates its seat.
Yep.
There's a power grab.
And we still have the Sand Lane skulking about. They cropped up briefly in BFA and then noped out again after we killed one of their princes. So,
yeah, he'll be back.
But so there's just a lot of that going on, and that feels very... The dragons are always kind of tied up in that shit because they're supposed to be protecting Azeroth. That's what Neltharion was supposed to be. He was the Earth Warder. He was supposed to be the protector of the Earth, of Azeroth. And that's why I think he was targeted. Because what happens to a kingdom, to a world, to a people, when you remove their defense? They're vulnerable.
It crumbles.
They fall to pieces because they're not protected anymore. You can waltz right in and start killing. So, or corrupting, depending on who you are. So,
what happens is they take the next best thing, which is their farmers and peasants, and puts them on the wall.
Yep. So
they give you cannon fodder.
So, anything else any other reason you think it might be dragon related?
Besides the topic that we discussed previously that you're about to touch on, no.
Okay. Well, the other day, there's a lot of reasons I could say. I did a whole theory before I even realized that the next expansion could be dragon related. Back on the Dragon Isles, my one theory that I've ever done, and someone had commented, you might be on the money with this. And I'm like,
yeah,
I hope I am, because if I got my one theory video that I ever did right, I'm going to be happy. It's just
you need to start doing more of them.
I don't have a lot of theories. I do, but they're very fleeting. So it's not something that comes naturally. I'm not a schemer, really. Which is funny because I am in RPs. But anyway, so
yeah, you are.
My reason as to why is this. If you can look here on screen with me, everyone. I have my Discord up. You've been staring at it, I'm sure. Is this list right here. Why I totally think 10.0 will be dragon related is because the recent few expansions feel like they've been in a thematic recycle, starting with Warlords of Draenor. Because they had said in WoD when it came out, they wanted to get back to basics. They wanted to show people the history of the orcs, which is really cool. I appreciate that. But what else was kind of like that was vanilla basics. Now, if you jump to Burning Crusade, Legion, Demons, Space. What was Legion? It was Legion. Just like BC.
Legion.
Now, In Wrath, we have the Scourge. We're death-themed. The Lich King. What is Shadowlands?
Death-themed.
Death-themed.
And the Lich King.
And the Lich King. Like, all of that, like the Helm of Domination and everything. It was all present. And Illidan was even Legion and BC. And all the orcs and the Draenei got their shine in WoD.
Yep.
You know, like there's a little blurred lines here and there. Like Draenei was BC and Kael'thas was BC, but you could argue he's been around a lot longer than that. So, but Kata comes after Wrath, and we keep getting talk of and it was dragon themed, dragon and Azeroth themed.
Complete rework of the world we knew.
And that's what's been speculated in some of these leaks, which, you know, they may or may not be right. World remake, you know, dragons. And I'm like, sounds like Kata.
It does. Not to mention, you know, the pretty much precursors to any expansion is a themed bundle. And what do we have? Dragons.
Yep. Well, we can't even see what the bundle is yet. It's encrypted, but there is some spell effects and mount effects and things that are Emerald Dream related.
There is one, the expansion mount.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I do believe it's
a type of dragon.
Title for it is that Emerald Drake.
Yeah, it says Emerald Dragon something. I don't remember. I'd have to pull it up.
Yeah, something like that.
But it's dragon related. And 5 cloaks that we can't look at, also encrypted, got added. So I told you about this, to that same encryption file, which is likely the pre-order / pre-release thing that we can pre-order. The expansion. You know, they always come with something fancy. And how many flights are there?
I absolutely throw my money at that.
There's 5 main flights.
There are 5
and we
flights.
got 5 cloaks, and it's supposedly dragon related. Are we gonna get dragon wings, baby?
I want dragon wings.
I want dragon wings. Now, of course, we can all be totally wrong, but I'm trying to feel like as many data mine things. Like, if they didn't have the data mine encryption stuff, I'd be like, it's totally up in the air, you know? But leaks tend to have an origin, a speck of relative truth. Look at the leaks for Shadowlands. Some of them were even as wild as people being ferried with Jaina's boat by their souls on the docks of Stormwind. Okay, but that was death. That was still dealing with death, and what did we get? A death-themed expansion. So we might, you know, it might not be called the Dragonflight expansion, but I would be pretty impressed if we didn't have anything about dragons in it, with all this stuff pointing to it. So
I'm super stoked for Tuesday. That's all I gotta say.
And frankly,
oh my God,
like, I don't even care what the next expansion is, honestly. Like, I'm just excited, period. It's a new expansion, you know?
I'm always excited for new shit.
We normally know already, but because we couldn't have a BlizzCon, and they didn't do BlizzCon Line this year, like they did the previous for Shadowlands or whatever. Yeah, we've been in the dark for longer than normal.
But it has given them more time, so I'm very
I hope they've been able to
use that time wisely.
I hope so too. And someone had pointed out, well, if it's dragon themed and there's 5 aspects, there's 5 flights, do you think they'll do a covenant thing? And I'm like, I kind of hope not.
Yeah, I kind of hope not. How about some allied races? Ha.
Yeah, you just want that dragon race.
Oh my God, I want it so bad.
I know. If y'all don't know what we're talking about, go look at the very first podcast episode we did, which was nerding about one of the leaks, which I thought was the most fun leak of all the leaks I've seen this far.
I agree.
And, yeah. So.
I want that.
It was the 10.0 leak. But, because I don't really jump on the leak scene. Like, I glance over, I'm like, oh, that's neat. But, you know, you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. It's a leak. So.
Yeah. It's definitely not going to be what I want it to be, but it'll be something cool, and I'm excited.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to it either way, whether it is or isn't about dragons. Just
exactly.
There's some themes that have been recurring in a pattern, and I'm curious to see if it'll stick to it.
Even if it's not dragons, it's bringing back the Scourge, which is a very nostalgic thing for me. So I'm
maybe
we'll
see.
I don't know if at least a little bit.
I don't know if that's just a 925 thing or if that's because 925 is not out yet.
That's true.
We've only seen the data mining stuff. The stuff I know is technically spoilers, I guess, but spoilers, I don't care about spoilers. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
So
you're 3 hours into a podcast.
No, I'm talking about in general.
No rights.
Spoilers don't bother me.
Oh, yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. So, yeah, that was a very long podcast. I think we're going to call it there. We could keep going, but it's already 6 o'clock, and we've not started on all the other stuff we need to record. 9 o'clock for you. We're behind.
Rip.
I did not expect this to take 3 hours.
I know, right? Apparently, I have opinions, and I can talk about them.
Told you.
Randomly.
You're like, I don't have opinions. Yes, you do. Don't give me that. So, anyway, we're going to call it there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please tell me how wrong we are in the comments. I want to see.
We'll respond.
And even if we don't, tell me anyway. It's good for the algorithm.
Yeah.